The god of war is released from prison. How to choose among my mother-in-law's 5 daughters. 10 years ago, he was framed for killing his father and mother. Over the past decade, he became the lord of the heavenly temple, sweeping through the outer realms. 10 years later, he returned home to marry, only to have his marriage certificate pursued by 5 sisters. Chapter 1, Return. Outsider Realm, First Garrison. At this moment, the most elite warriors from the entire Outsider Realm were gathered here. Inside the main tent of the heavenly temple, a gentle and refined young man was packing his luggage. Nearby, the 9 legendary war gods of the Outsider Realm were all kneeling halfway. Lord, can you stay? The heavenly temple cannot exist without you. A row of stern-faced, iron-blooded men, full of worry, pleaded desperately. Xia Qian looked at the 9 men and sighed. I promised my master 10 years. I've stayed in the heavenly temple for 10 years, and now that the time has come, I must leave. With that, Xia Qian picked up his packed luggage and prepared to head out. Suddenly, a clear and commanding shout came from outside the tent. Get out of the way! With the sound of the command, a mighty tiger threw open the tent's curtain and crashed through the guards like a mountain pressing down, charging inside. Following the tiger, a woman walked in. The woman was wearing leopard skin, with sun-kissed skin radiating strength and health. In her right hand, she wielded a massive battle axe, exuding an aura of murderous intent, like she could single-handedly block an army. Upon seeing Xia Qian, the woman's expression changed slightly, and holding her breath, she asked, Qian Ji, are you really leaving the heavenly temple to find that fiancé you've never even met? Xia Qian looked at Athena and sighed deeply. He nodded slightly. Yes, not just the marriage contract, it's been 10 years. It's time for me to go back and do what I need to do. No way. Athena shouted angrily, the battle axe landing on Xia Qian's neck. Her eyes were red with fury as she ground her teeth, saying each word slowly. You can't leave. I won't let you leave. Her actions stunned everyone around them, and they couldn't help but feel a cold sweat. Athena's gone mad, she actually dares to fight with the Lord. You don't understand, this is pure love. Athena may be fierce, but she is undeniably one of the most beautiful women in the world. After all these years, how can the Lord not be moved? Yeah, if Athena and the Lord got together, would he still leave? While people were discussing, their eyes were on Xia Qian, filled with nothing but pleading. Xia Qian looked around, sighed deeply, and then lightly tapped his finger. Athena's arm immediately went limp, and her battle axe dropped to the ground with a loud clang. Athena's eyes turned red, her voice choked as she asked, Can't you stay? Xia Qian sighed, I'm sorry, there are many things I must do. 10 years have passed, and if I delay any longer, it may be too late. After I leave, the Lord of the Heavenly Temple will be up to you. Athena shook her head, a resolute expression on her face. No, if you leave, I won't stay here either. I'll find you in 3 months, no matter where you are. You can only be mine. Xia Qian was about to say something when Athena suddenly shouted, Da Huan. The fierce tiger leaped back to her side. Athena mounted the tiger, and with its roar, the pair disappeared into the depths of the forest. One of the young men at the front was stunned and said, Lord, Athena is really great, aren't you reconsidering? Xia Qian squinted his eyes and replied, Enough, don't waste your breath. I have my own plans. The young man took a step forward, still wanting to persuade him. Xiao Wu. I'm here. Xiao Wu stepped forward, his eyes red. Once I leave the heavenly temple, I will no longer be the Lord. Xia Qian patted his shoulder, saying, From now on, you are the new Lord of the heavenly temple. Take care of it, brothers. From now on, the heavenly temple is in your hands. Don't let me down. Xia Qian waved his hand and left the military camp with a carefree stride. Xiao Wu straightened his back, and the 8 men behind him stood at attention, saluting him with perfect precision. Watching Xia Qian's departing figure, Xiao Wu's eyes turned red as he said, Don't worry, Qian Ji, I won't let you down. The heavenly temple will never lose face under my leadership. Jiangnan City. Xia Qian got out of a military Hummer. The autumn wind blew, lifting a pile of fallen leaves, creating a desolate scene. On this day, 10 years ago, he was personally sent into a prison by the Xia family. He still remembered that night 10 years ago when, after being force-fed several bottles of alcohol by his cousins, he drunkenly returned home. As he pushed open the door, he froze. His loving father was lying on the couch, 2 large blood holes in his chest, eyes wide open, dying without peace. His gentle and elegant mother lay in a pool of blood in the kitchen, a spilled cup of Jin Junmai beside her. At that moment, his throat felt like it was choked with a ball, unable to make a sound. Before he could recover, the police broke in, tackled him, and charged him with patricide and matricide, taking him straight to the detention center. Inside the detention center, Xia Qian suffered the pain of losing his parents while hoping his grandfather could find the real killer and take revenge for him. But after waiting for 3 months, what he received instead were charges of murder from his own family. He clearly remembered his grandfather sitting on the witness stand, accusing him of killing his father and mother, and his cousins, uncles, and aunts were all there, smiling. That was when he realized it was all part of a scheme against his parents and him. He foolishly thought the Xia family would save him. Since he was still a minor, he was sentenced to life imprisonment and sent to Longhu Prison, a facility for serious criminals. If it weren't for his good luck, having met a master in prison, he might have died in the first year. After learning many skills and with his master's help, he enlisted in the military, stationed on the border, and spent another 2 years becoming one of the 9 war gods of the Heavenly Temple. A year ago, he officially became the Lord of the Heavenly Temple, leading wars and suppressing the outsider realm, fulfilling his 10-year promise and finally returning here. Xia Qian pushed his glasses up, hiding the tears that threatened to fall. He realized he had somehow acquired an envelope. This letter was received 3 months after his imprisonment, containing only a marriage contract and a sentence. Marry into the Chu family. Xia Qian knew this note well. It was written by his late father. It was the only remaining relic his father left him. Who sent this letter? Was marrying into the Chu family his father's dying wish? Or was there something his father wanted to tell him? Could there be more to his parents' deaths than he knew? Xia Qian couldn't figure it out, but since it was his father's request, he had to fulfill it. Drive, take me to the Chu family. Xia Qian's voice was quiet, but firm. Half an hour later, Xia Qian got out of the car in front of an elegant, ancient villa. Above the door was a pair of large red characters, Chu residence. The Chu family was one of the 4 great families in Jiangnan City. Their ancestors had produced a prime minister. It was said that the Chu family's men were handsome and strong, and their women were elegant and refined. There was no one useless in the family. Xia Qian wondered what his fiancée was like and what secrets the Chu family held. As he was pondering, a young man quickly walked toward the Chu residence. He was holding a bouquet of flowers, wearing an LV suit and a Patek Philippe watch, with a joyful expression on his face as though he was about to propose. Upon seeing Xia Qian standing at the door, the young man's face showed curiosity. Who are you here to see? After some investigation, Xia Qian learned that the Chu family's daughter, currently at home, was named Chu Xia. Xia Qian said, I'm here to see Chu Xia. I'm her fiancé. The young man's face changed instantly, and he shouted. Damn it. I'm Chu Xia's fiancé. Chapter 2, Opportunity. The sunlight illuminated Li Peng's face, making him look slightly flushed and excited. Chu Xia is my woman, she belongs only to me. No other man is allowed to have any intentions toward her. Anyone who tries to take Chu Xia away will have only one outcome. Death. I'm giving you a chance. Leave right now, or face the consequences. Li Peng was so excited that saliva was flying everywhere, and Summer took a step back in disgust. I'm giving you a chance as well. Shut your mouth right now. What if I don't shut up? Do you dare hit me? Slap. A loud slap echoed, and Li Peng's 2 front teeth were knocked out. He stared blankly, wiping the blood from his face. With a furious roar, he shouted, I'll kill you. Li Peng, the young master of the Li family, had never been humiliated like this. He scrambled to get up and charge at Summer. At this moment, a girl riding a bicycle with a backpack and a ponytail shouted loudly. Li Peng, what are you doing? Stop fighting in front of my house. If you want to fight, go somewhere else. Don't spill blood on my doorstep. Xia Xia. As soon as Li Peng saw Chu Xia, he suddenly stopped feeling pain. He grinned, but his face was swollen from the slap, his hair was messy, and without 2 front teeth, he looked utterly ridiculous. Chu Xia quickly covered her eyes. So ugly. You're so ugly that I can't bear to look at you. She said, then peeked through a gap in her fingers and glanced at Summer. Her almond-shaped eyes were full of curiosity. Who are you? Summer smiled slightly and introduced himself. My name is Summer. Your fiancé. Chu Xia, her. In the living room of the Chu family. The furniture was made of Huanghuali wood, with Tang Sansai figurines and jade plates everywhere, all of which exuded an air of nobility. Chu Xia handed Summer a cup of coffee. Here, authentic Blue Mountain coffee. This cup is worth thousands of dollars and I don't let just anyone drink it. Am I an ordinary person then? Summer smiled. He took a sip of the coffee. The taste is good, but it's not authentic Blue Mountain coffee. Authentic Blue Mountain coffee is grown on the island of Jamaica, where the temperature remains around 27 degrees Celsius year-round. It has a strong, rich flavor. The coffee you have is mildly acidic, a variety of Blue Mountain coffee, but not from the Jamaican island. However, it's still pretty good. Chuchia's mouth opened slightly, looking shocked. Wow, you're amazing. Most guys prefer tea over coffee, and it's rare to find one who knows so much about coffee. I really like coffee culture. I recently opened a place that serves civet coffee. Let us go try it together. Chuchia was 20 years old, with well-defined features, a small cherry-like mouth, and almond-shaped eyes that were very clear. She exuded an aura of purity and vitality. She was exactly the type Summer liked. He nodded with a smile. Sure, but it'll have to be another day. Today is my grandfather's birthday. I have to go to the Imperial Hotel for the birthday banquet. Maybe another time. What about your father? The marriage contract was arranged between Summer's father and Chu Chinha, so the elder generation had to settle the marriage details. Summer's visit today was mainly to meet Chu Chinha and finalize the wedding for 3 months later. I'm not sure when he'll be back. The company is expanding, so he's quite busy lately. When my mom finishes giving Li Wei his medicine, you can talk to my mom. Chuchia's mother, Zhao Yulian, was the deputy director of the provincial Chinese medicine hospital and came from a scholarly family. When it came to Li Wei, Chuchia's face showed clear disdain. He's some distant relative from my mom's side. He's really annoying and keeps telling everyone I'm his fiancé, but we're not even friends. Compared to Li Wei, Chuchia liked Summer more. Li Wei was a useless rich second-generation heir, ugly and lecherous. Summer, on the other hand, was polite and scholarly, looking much more reliable than Li Wei. Are you a university professor? No, Summer shook his head. Then what do you do? Chuchia asked excitedly, her personality very lively. Are you a writer? Do you write novels? Summer smiled. Guess again. Doctor. Architect. In finance. Chuchia was getting into the guessing game when Zhao Yulian came out, walking towards Summer with a cold expression. Are you Summer? Summer nodded. Hello, Aunt Zhao. After all, she was his future mother-in-law, so out of both politeness and reason, Summer had to greet her. However, Zhao Yulian rejected him outright. Don't call me aunt, we're not that familiar. I heard you're here to fulfill the marriage contract. That's right. Summer took out a piece of paper. Due to its age, the paper had yellowed, and it was a marriage contract written by Chu Chinha. There were handprints from both parties at the bottom. According to the agreement, by the end of this year, which is 3 months from now, I will marry the Chu family's daughter. Chuchia chatted curiously. Mom, when did I have a marriage contract? I didn't know about this at all. You hid it too well. Since I'm already engaged, can we get rid of Li Wei now? Before Chuchia could finish, Zhao Yulian grabbed the marriage contract and ripped it into pieces, throwing it into the trash can. She pointed at Summer's nose and started scolding him. The marriage contract is void. The daughter of the Chu family will never marry you. Get out of here immediately. Summer remained unfazed, calmly looking at Zhao Yulian. This is a blood oath made by my father and Chu Chinha. Even if you tear up this paper, the marriage contract still stands. I'm here today to remind the Chu family. 3 months from now, I will marry her. If the contract is broken, the Chu family will owe me $1 billion as compensation. Ha ha ha. Zhao Yulian burst out laughing, looking at Summer as though he were a joke. Kid, you really have no shame, $1 billion. Do you even know who you are? Do you think you're worth $1 billion? You're nothing but trash, not worth even $1. Chuchia tugged at Zhao Yulian's sleeve. Mom, you're being too harsh. Harsh? I've been very restrained. Do you even know who he is? Zhao Yulian pointed at Summer. Chuchia looked at her with curiosity. Who is he? His name is Summer. He's a spoiled rich kid, the one who crashed into the stone gate of Qiantan Park. Qiantan Park was a historic landmark in Jiangnan City with thousands of years of history, and the stone gate had been damaged. It was said that it was caused by some rich kid driving. And it turned out to be him. Zhao Yulian continued. 10 years ago, he was imprisoned. If nothing else, you must have just been released today, right? A criminal just out of prison, with no job, no money, nothing at all, a worthless piece of trash. Just out of prison. He is a convict. Do you know why he went to prison? Zhao Yulian looked at Chuxia. Chuxia shook her head in confusion. No. Because he killed someone. Chuxia took 2 steps back. And not just anyone, he killed his own parents. He is a bastard who killed his father and mother. Chuxia immediately turned and ran. Someone like you, I will never let my daughter marry. Get that idea out of your head. Zhao Yulian put her hands on her hips, exuding a formidable aura as if she would never back down. The agreement from back then stands. If the Chu family breaks the contract, they must pay $1 billion. On the other hand, if I marry the Chu family's daughter, the bride price will also be $1 billion. Whether you want to marry or not, it's up to you. Summer turned and walked away. Before leaving, he glanced up at the 2nd floor of the villa. Chuxia was peeking through the window at him. When she saw him looking back, she quickly hid behind the curtain. About 10 minutes later, after confirming that Summer had left, Chuxia took out her phone and sent a message in the 5 Golden Flowers group. Girls, come out quickly, our fiancé is here to propose. Chapter 3, The 5 Golden Flowers. The Chu family had 5 daughters, with Chuxia being the youngest, currently a sophomore majoring in drama. She often felt lonely when she was home alone, and when bored, she would chat with her sisters in their group chat. However, her 4 sisters were always busy, especially the eldest and 2nd sisters, who were often out of touch for months. The 3rd and 4th sisters were also busy with work and didn't pay much attention to her. As soon as she sent the message, the 4 sisters immediately exploded in the chat. 3rd sister, what is going on? When did we get a fiancé? Chuxia, I just found out today that the Chu family has an engagement contract with the Summer family, a childhood betrothal. That guy came today. 3rd sister, wow, isn't that just like something out of a novel? Tell me more, what is he like? Is he handsome? Recalling Summer's appearance, Chuxia truthfully answered. Chuxia, he is pretty handsome, gentle and elegant, like a university professor, but unfortunately. 3rd sister, unfortunately, what? Is he mute or some other kind of disabled? Chuxia, he is a murderer, just released from prison. And he killed his own parents. He is a patricide and matricide. So scary. 3rd sister. 4th sister, haha, not my concern. There is only one man worth marrying in this world. Chuxia, who? 4th sister, the founder of Qianhe. 4th sister was an entrepreneur, passionate about business since she was young. She started her first company at 21, and by 23, her company was valued at tens of millions. She was a true female CEO. And the Qianhe founder she referred to as the richest man in Jiangnan City. Moreover, this founder was very young, under 30 years old. An outstanding young entrepreneur. Chuxia, but you've never met him. What if he is a chubby, ugly guy who loves himself? Chuxia stuck out her tongue. She was different, she only liked good-looking people, and she didn't care for anyone ugly. 4th sister, what is wrong with ugly? The most important thing in a person is talent. Does being handsome fill your stomach? I won't marry anyone but the founder of Qianhe. I'm going to a meeting. 4th sister came and went in a hurry. Suddenly, the eldest sister appeared, I won't marry either. My master said I'll meet a fated person. He'll be dressed in white, descending from the sky on a wooden board to save my life. He is my true love. I won't marry anyone but him. Chuxia, descending from the sky. The eldest must have gone crazy practicing Taoism. How could a person fall from the sky? And on a wooden board? If she had known, she would never have let the eldest practice Taoism. She should have stayed home and kept me company instead. Chuxia sighed. At 2nd sister and 3rd sister, what about you guys? 3rd sister sighed, I don't want to marry either. I want to find a little divine doctor. Chuxia, little divine doctor. A net friend. 3rd sister, not a net friend, he is a divine doctor. 2 years ago, a little divine doctor appeared in the Jianghu. He used the last 13 needles of the Ghost Gate to cure a terminal cancer patient. Rumor has it he is very young, so they call him the little divine doctor. 3rd sister was obsessed with traditional Chinese medicine. She had learned medicine from Zhao Yulian since she was young, and she surpassed her teacher. 5 years ago, she was accepted as an inner disciple by Master Qian from Jiafengtang. Chuxia, are you trying to learn the 13 needles of the Ghost Gate or marry him? Third sister, both. I hope my future husband is a divine doctor who heals the world with kindness and skill, not a mediocre man. I only want to marry the little divine doctor. Chuxia, good luck. At second sister, what about you? Second sister, I will only marry one person in this lifetime. Chuxia, that temple master. Second sister was born with extraordinary strength. She started learning Tongbei boxing at the age of 5 and joined the army at 16. 2 years ago, second sister went on a mission and was ambushed. When she was on the brink of death, a man descended from the sky and saved her. She referred to him as the temple master. It was said that the temple master was young, handsome, strong, and powerful. He was second sister's hero and she would only marry him in this life. Second sister, that's right. Even if I have to be his third wife, I just want to be with him. The temple master has retired. In 3 months, I will return. By then, I'll be with him forever. Is love really that crazy? Chuxia was embarrassed. I wish you success, second sister. Looking at the messages from her 4 sisters, Chuxia suddenly came to her senses. If none of the 4 sisters want to marry, then who will? After leaving the Chu family, Summer walked out of the neighborhood. A black Rolls-Royce was parked at the intersection. As soon as Summer appeared, 2 people got out of the car and bowed respectfully. Mr. Summer. You finally returned. The person speaking was around 50 years old, with graying hair and a slightly plump build, yet he exuded a distinguished aura. His name was Xu Chengfeng, a famous figure in Jiangnan City. He was well known not for his appearance but for his identity. He was the vice president of Qianhe. Whenever Qianhe held a press conference, it was always him who appeared. In fact, many people believed Xu Chengfeng was the actual owner of Qianhe, but the real boss was Summer. Uncle Feng, you've worked hard these past years. Summer gave Xu Chengfeng a hug, feeling deeply moved. Let us get in the car and talk. Xu Chengfeng had been Summer's father's assistant and had watched Summer grow up. He was someone Summer could trust. 5 years ago, Summer gave Xu Chengfeng some money to invest in a company and used his connections to help the Qianhe group expand rapidly. Mr. Summer, will you leave again this time? Although Xu Chengfeng was an elder, he was very respectful, always addressing Summer as Mr. Summer. I'm not leaving. Looking at the window, Summer observed the variety of goods and people, the familiar yet unfamiliar scent. I'm back to resolve the matters from back then. How is the investigation going? Xu Chengfeng placed a file in front of Summer and said calmly, everything is in here. Inside the file were details of all the unsavory deeds done by the Summer family over the years. Chapter 4 Birthday Surprise. Grandpa loses at least 100 million yuan in the casino every year. Cousin Xie Meng cheats on his wife and supports multiple women. Cousin Xie Yuqing is having an affair with her own uncle. There are also a bunch of blushing photos in the file. Xie Qian's eyes flashed with ferocity. What a good descendant of the Xie family. It was this group of people who sent me to prison and accused me of killing my father and mother. Xie Qian's father is the head of the Xie group. He is a genius. In just 3 years, he has transformed the Xie family from a small family with only tens of millions of assets to a large family with tens of billions of assets. In addition to his precise business acumen, my father is ruthless in his work, uses talents, and kicks out all the uncles who fish in troubled waters from the company regardless of feelings. This caused dissatisfaction among my grandfather, several uncles, and my aunt, who often quarreled with Xie Qian's family because of this matter. I remember that my grandfather slapped my father in public. At the beginning, when Xie Qian was tried in court, grandpa, cousin, younger cousin, aunt, and cousin all appeared in court to accuse him. It was because of them that Xie Qian was finally sentenced to prison. He became a murderer who killed his father and mother. It is hard not to suspect that this was a trap set by grandpa and his group. I haven't found any substantial evidence yet. 5 years have passed and no evidence has been found. Xu Chengfeng is very embarrassed. That night, all the surveillance cameras nearby were damaged. The whole community seemed to be plunged into darkness. No lights were on. In addition, the phone and video were all blank. The other party did things perfectly, without a single flaw. However, I found out that on the night of the accident, the old man and the third child went to your house and the accident happened less than an hour after they left. The third child died in a car accident 3 months after the accident. I suspect the third child was silenced. Whether the person behind it is the old man or not, this matter is inseparable from the old man. The evidence back then must have been wiped out. It's not easy to find evidence. The old man is too tight-lipped. He won't admit it. However, let's... Xu Qingfeng's face turned cold and he made a gesture of wiping his neck. No. Kill him directly, it's too easy for him. I will settle all the debts he owes me, including my cousins who took advantage of my misfortune. I will settle them one by one, and no one can escape. Boom. There was a loud thunder outside the window, and lightning struck Xia Qian's face. A trace of murderous intent flashed behind his elegant glasses. The air around him suddenly dropped, and Xu Qingfeng couldn't help shivering. Xia Qian's voice was low. Tonight is Grandpa's birthday, and these things can be a birthday gift for him. Xu Qingfeng nodded immediately. Xia Qian picked up the coffee cup and took a sip, and a girl came to his mind. Is there any Blue Mountain coffee left? No. Xu Qingfeng said quickly, but I know a collector, I can buy some, how much do you need? Let's start with a pound of coffee beans. I don't know if she can get used to it. Xia Qian said lightly. Xu Qingfeng immediately made a phone call, and in less than 30 minutes, a pound of authentic Blue Mountain coffee was delivered. It was simply wrapped in craft paper. On the surface, it looked no different from ordinary coffee beans, but people who knew the goods would know it was authentic Blue Mountain coffee just by smelling it. By the way, Mr. Xu and Mrs. Xu have come. Mrs. Xu is in the late stage of cancer. A few months ago, she learned that there was a little genius doctor in Jiangnan. She has been in contact for a long time. Today, she has arrived in Jiangnan City and is waiting for you at the hotel. Xu Qingfeng said. 2 years ago, Xia Qian returned to Jiangnan for a mission, met Xu Qingfeng once, and treated a father of a god of war in the Temple of Heaven. Due to the strict regulations of the Temple of Heaven, Xia Qian could not reveal his identity, so he called himself a little genius doctor. Since then, a little genius doctor has appeared in Jiangnan City. Countless wealthy people want to ask him to see a doctor. Because he had not retired before, he did not accept any patients. Now that he has returned, he can continue to make a name for himself as a little genius doctor. Then wait for someone to take the bait. Take the person here first and live nearby. Once you have time, go there for treatment immediately. Mr. Xu and Mrs. Xu are good friends of Xu Qingfeng. When they heard that their friend was saved, they were overjoyed and thanked him repeatedly. Thank you, Mr. Xia. I will take the person back right away. I am on standby 24 hours a day. You can call me anytime you are free. The Imperial Hotel was acquired by the company a week ago. Hotel management, everything is under your command. Xia Qian nodded and looked out the window. At this moment, the sky had darkened, the neon lights were on, and the whole city fell into silence, but if you listen carefully, you can hear the undercurrent inside. Are the gifts ready? Xu Qingfeng said, all are ready. Okay. Xia Qian put on his coat and combed his curly bangs upwards. It's been 10 years. It's time to go back and give Grandpa and my relatives a surprise. Chapter 5 is back. Today, the birthday party of the old man of the Xia family gathered all the wealthy people in Jiangnan City. The whole hotel was booked by the Xia family. A polite waiter was guarding the door. Xia Qian came to the door and was stopped by the waiter. Hello, sir, please show me your invitation. I don't have an invitation. Xia Qian said lightly, go and inform them that Xia Qian is here. Are you Xia Qian? The waiter looked at him in shock. The news 10 years ago shocked the whole Jiangnan City. A second-generation ancestor killed his father and mother because his parents refused to buy him a new car. The murderer is back. You don't seem to be on the invitation list. The waiter was so shocked that he stuttered. Are you looking? Xia Qian smiled and pointed to the last name on the list, my name is here. The waiter was stunned. The invitation list was written in black on red paper, but Xia Qian's name was written in gold. It was obviously added later. Who added it? The waiter was a little embarrassed. Xia, Mr. Xia, please wait a moment. I'll go ask the manager. The Xia family's affairs should be resolved by the Xia family themselves. The waiter quickly ran to the lobby, where a young man in a suit and tie was greeting guests. He was the grandson of Mr. Xia, named Xia Ning, and currently worked as the HR manager of the Xia group. Mr. Chan, Grandpa must be very happy to see you today. Mr. Wang, oh, Grandpa is very happy that you are here, what gifts do you bring? Please sit down, I'll have a drink with you later. Xia Ning kept entertaining the guest. Mr. Xia. The waiter pulled his sleeve. What are you doing? Xia Ning interrupted him rudely. Can't you see I'm entertaining guests? What's your point? There's a guest outside. He doesn't have an invitation, but he said his name is Xia Qian. Xia Ning said impatiently, no one without an invitation can enter. Didn't your manager notify you? What do you think our Xia family is? What a mess. Wait. What do you say his name is? Xia Qian. Xia Ning shouted out, and the lively hall instantly became quiet. The relatives of the Xia family frowned. Who's here? Xia Qian. Isn't he in prison? When he got into trouble, he was 16 years old, not yet an adult, and was not sentenced to death. Later, his sentence was commuted to 10 years. Now that the 10 years are up, he should be out of prison, right? Fuck. If he dared to kill his father and mother at the age of 16, wouldn't he dare to kill his whole family at the age of 26? It's the old man's birthday, and the murderer is here. This is not a good omen. A slightly older young man stood up and scolded Xia Ning. Xia Ning, don't talk nonsense. No matter who it is, send him away immediately. The person who spoke was Xia Hai, the oldest among his peers. He was 30 years old this year and was the general manager of Xia Group. He was the successor trained by the old man. Okay, I'll go right away. Xia Ning ran out with a gloomy face. He was a few months younger than Xia Qian. They studied in the same middle school, but their relationship was very ordinary. Because Xia Ning was ugly and Xia Qian was too handsome. The gap between the two was too big. Xia Ning once liked a school beauty. He chased her for several months but failed to get her. Xia Qian waved goodbye and she ran away with him. Every time he thought of this, Xia Ning's chest was filled with anger. Damn it. How dare this rubbish come back? Xia Ning rushed to the door in one breath. He had imagined Xia Qian's image all the way. After 10 years of sewing, Xia Qian must have been tortured to the point of being unbearable to look at, right? After all, the environment can change a person. But when he got to the door, Xia Ning was stunned. A brown sweater, a black coat, a strand of slightly curly bangs casually draped over his forehead, a knife-like jawline with a little green stubble, and a height of 190 standing out from the crowd at the door. A pair of gold-rimmed glasses, a touch of gentleness in his wildness. Xia Ning was 165 centimeters tall. Not only was he short, but he also had bow legs, a collapsed nose, and puffy eyes. Compared with Xia Qian, he was simply a toad. Fuck. Xia Ning's chest was filled with anger. You bastard, what are you doing back here? The moment you killed your father and your mother 10 years ago, you were no longer a member of our Xia family. If I were you, I would have no face to return to the Xia family. I would have found a dark ditch to live out my life as a rat. How do you come to our house? Get out of here before Grandpa finds out. The Xia family doesn't welcome you. Xia Ning's voice was very loud, and the guests queuing at the door looked over here. Everyone, look, do you remember that night 10 years ago? A second-generation ancestor killed his parents to buy a new car, and this second-generation ancestor is out of prison now. He is the murderer. Hiss. Everyone took a breath of cold air, and two ladies who came to ask Xia Qian for WeChat took a step back in fear. It's him, so scary, I want his WeChat. What a pity, he's so handsome, but he's actually a beast. How dare a beast return to the Xia family? Get lost. Xia Ning's face was ferocious, he tilted his neck, waited for Xia Qian with red eyes, extremely arrogant. Did you hear me? Get lost. Get lost as far as you can. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Xia Qian was very calm, he even took off his glasses, wiped the lenses with a handkerchief, and then spoke. Xia Ning, I haven't seen you for 10 years, you're still the same as before. Ugly. And you like to bark. Fuck. Xia Ning exploded instantly, jumped up and shouted, you son of a bitch, you said I'm ugly. I am ugly but I am still a descendant of the Xia family. I respect my parents, but you killed your father and mother. What does it matter if you look good? Are you still a rubbish, a poor bastard? You have nothing after leaving the Xia family. Don't think I don't know what you are doing back. You just want to come back to beg for mercy. Grandpa will give you some money out of pity. I have seen a lot of rubbish like you. Get out. The Xia family does not welcome you. Xia Qian stretched out 3 fingers and said coldly. First, the murderer of the murder case 10 years ago was someone else. I am innocent. Second, the Dahao Hotel is the only 7-star hotel in Jiangnan. Anyone who can enter here is a well-educated person. Those who bark like dogs are not worthy of entering the Dahao. Third, I came back to see Grandpa, not you. Shut your dog mouth. After that, Xia Qian no longer paid attention to Xia Ning and strode into the banquet hall. Fuck. Stop right there. Who allowed you to come in? Xia Ning rushed up to stop Xia Qian, but he was stopped by the security guard. Hello, sir. You are not allowed to enter Dahao Hotel. Xia Ning was stunned and cursed. I am Xia Ning, from the Xia family. Look at me with your dog eyes. Today is my grandfather's birthday. How do you stop me? The security guard looked grim. We know who you are, but we have rules at Dahao. People who like to bark are not allowed to enter the hotel. Please get out. Xia Ning. Are you crazy? I am your guest. Get out of here right now. Xia Ning was furious. He had never heard of such a thing. The hotel kicked out the guests. The security guard frowned. You're barking again. Get out now, don't affect our business. Alpaca. Xia Ning jumped up and was about to fight, but one of the security guards grabbed his neck and threw him out like a chicken, scolding him. The Imperial Hotel doesn't accept people who bark. Get out now. Xia Ning lay on the ground, his face full of confusion, and the crowd around him took out their phones to take pictures of this scene. Oh my god, it's Mr. Xia's birthday, and his grandson was kicked out of the Imperial Hotel because he liked to bark. Chapter 6 Chaos. Aining, why haven't you come back yet? Xia Hai kept looking out the door. Ever since he heard that Xia Qian had returned, his heart had been in turmoil and he had a bad feeling. Brother, are you looking for me again? A voice came from behind. Xia Hai turned his head suddenly. When he saw the person behind him, he was slightly stunned. He felt that the person looked familiar, but strange. You. Is it Xia Qian? Xia Qian smiled. It's only been 10 years and brother can't recognize me. Hiss. Xia Hai took a breath of cold air. After not seeing each other for 10 years, the cynical second-generation ancestor has grown into a mature and charming man. Moreover, he is well-dressed and elegant. How can he look like he just got out of prison? After recognizing Xia Qian, Xia Hai's chest was filled with anger and he pointed at Xia Qian's nose and cursed. You dare to come back? What you did 10 years ago brought shame to Xia Qian. If you were not under 18 years old, how could you escape the loophole of the law? You were released after 10 years. It seems that 10 years in prison did not teach you any lesson. You actually ran back. What do you want to do? Are you embarrassed? Xia Hai's roar attracted the attention of the people around him. The guests present today, in addition to the relatives of the Xia family, are some business leaders. The rainy night 10 years ago shocked everyone. At this moment, seeing the person involved, everyone talked about it. He is Xia Qian. He looks so gentle, but he doesn't seem like someone who can do such a beastly thing. You can't judge a book by its cover. It's a pity for Lao Meng. He is a business genius. If he had been given another 3 years, the entire Jiangnan city would have been under Lao Meng's feet. In the end, he died at the hands of his own son. TSK, this is fate. But why did this kid come back? If I were him, I would leave Jiangnan after I got out of prison and find a place where no one knows me and start over. I would not come back to embarrass myself. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Xia Qian looked calm and spoke calmly. I came back today to ask Grandpa a question. Where is Grandpa? Xia Hai glared at him and pointed at his nose and scolded, Xia family doesn't have descendants like you and Grandpa doesn't want to see you either. Get out. Get out now. Xia Qian frowned and said in a deep voice, Xia Ning just barked like a dog and was thrown out. Hey, you want to throw me out? You can try. Xia Hai is as tall as Xia Qian, with a thick body and a small mustache, looking very manly. Since he became the executive president of the Xia family, Xia Hai has a great reputation in Jiangnan City. Everyone says that he is the heir of the Xia group. In the whole Jiangnan City, no one can throw me, Xia Hai, out. You are a labor reformer who just got out of prison, and you still want to scare me. Xia Hai's face was ferocious and his tone was full of hostility, which scared the pregnant lady next to him and stretched out her hand to pull Xia Hai's sleeve. Honey, keep your voice down. You scared the baby. Sorry, honey, I'll keep my voice down. Xia Hai respected his wife very much. There was no way, his wife was very important, she was the daughter of a certain leader, and whether Xia Hai could rise to prominence in the future depended on his wife's family. Honey, go upstairs and rest for a while, I'll drive this bastard away first. Qi Yu glanced at Xia Qian and stood up to leave. At this time, Xia Qian said, there's a good show coming up, sister-in-law, don't you want to join in the fun? What good show? Qi Yu looked at a loss. Xiao Yu, don't listen to him. Xia Hai scolded, he is a piece of trash, he wants to come back to ask for money in the name of Xia family. Wife, please sit further away, I will drive him away. Xia Hai pointed at Xia Qian's nose and cursed, get out immediately, I give you 3 seconds, if you don't get out, I will ask someone to help you get out. Xia Ning likes dog barking, you like dog barking too. Xia Qian shook his head and said calmly, you should protect yourself first. I protect myself what? Xia Hai was about to curse when he saw 3 women walking in at the door. All 3 of them were pregnant. The oldest was about to give birth, and the youngest was 5 or 6 months old. After the 3 entered the door, they looked around as if they were looking for someone. When Xia Hai saw the 3 people, his soul was scared away. Fuck! He cursed and turned around to run. He's there. Sisters, stop him quickly, don't let him run away. The 3 women quickly stopped Xia Hai and yelled, run. You run. Qi Yu looked at the 3 people, frowned and asked Xia Hai, who are these 3 people? Wife, don't ask yet, I'll explain to you later, let's go first. Xia Hai was sweating profusely and pulled Qi Yu to leave. Qi Yu would never let him do whatever he wanted, so he shook off Xia Hai's arm and stared at the 3 pregnant women and asked loudly. Who are you? What's your relationship with Xia Hai? The 3 women looked Qi Yu up and down, curled their lips, and looked disdainful. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ru Hua, I'm Xia Hai's first wife, the baby in my belly is a son, and the due date is in a week. My name is Yan Yu, I'm Xia Hai's secretary, I'm currently 6 months pregnant, also a son. My name is Wang Haiyan, I'm Xia Hai's second wife, I'm 5 months pregnant, the doctor said it's also a son. The 3 women stared at Qi Yu and said with a smile. Xia Hai said that you are carrying a daughter in your belly and daughters don't have inheritance rights. A hen like you who can't give birth to a son is only fit to be a second child. When you see us 3 in the future, call us sister. Did you understand? Qi Yu's chest rose and fell, and she turned around and slapped Xia Hai, shouting. Xia Hai, you bastard. I want to divorce you. Chapter 7 Why did you kill your own son? Wife, listen to my explanation. Wife. Xia Hai chased after her, wanting to explain. Get lost. Qi Yu slapped him in the face. At the same time, Qi's relatives stood up and pointed at Xia Hai and cursed. Xia Hai, you bastard, Xia Yu treats you so well, but you are keeping a mistress outside. Beat him to death. Bastard. Some relatives of the Xia family came to help, and for a while, the scene was in chaos, noisy and messy. Xia Qian found an empty seat and sat down, poured a cup of tea by himself, sipped the tea, and enjoyed this farce. At this time, 2 women walked towards him, one older and one younger. The older one was in her early 40s, Xia Qian's aunt, and the younger one was in her early 20s, Xia Qian's cousin Xia Yuqing. Xia Qian. The aunt pointed at the 3 pregnant women and questioned Xia Qian. Did you find these 3 people? You just got out of prison today, and you are so eager to take revenge on the Xia family. You are a descendant of the Xia family. Why are you wasting time with him? Xia Yuqing stepped forward, grabbed Xia Qian's collar, and tried to pull him up. Get up. Get out of here. Pa. Xia Qian slapped Xia Yuqing, causing her to stagger. Her cheeks instantly became red and swollen. She covered her face with her eyes wide open. How do you hit me? Xia Qian smiled, why don't I dare to hit you? Who do you think you are? This slap makes you shameless. The aunt was angry and pointed at Xia Qian's nose, stop it. Yuqing doesn't even have a boyfriend, how can she be shameless? Back then, my uncle and my aunt were in harmony and they were the model couple of the whole Jiangnan city. Why did my uncle suddenly file for divorce? Is it really just because he has no feelings for me? Didn't my aunt ever doubt it? Xia Qian said this and the aunt was stunned. Xia Yuqing's face suddenly changed and she frantically pulled Xia Qian's collar and yelled. Get out! Get out! You are not welcome here, get out quickly. Ah! My hand. Xia Qian pinched Xu Yuqing's slender wrist. Xu Yuqing's cheeks turned pale instantly, and her forehead was covered with sweat. She yelled frantically. Let me go, let me go. I want to leave here. Don't worry, my dear sister, it's not too late to leave after watching the movie. Xia Qian pointed to the screen in the center of the hall. The hotel's big screen is very large, directly projecting. Today is Mr. Xia's birthday. The screen has been playing the history of the Xia group's rise in a series of loops. As Li Mu's voice fell, the video switched to a hotel's big bedroom. A man and a woman were hugging each other on the big bed. From time to time, there were blushing sounds. The video was very clear, and the faces of the two people could be seen clearly. This isn't the Xu Yuqing and Xia's son-in-law Wang Qianfeng. Wang Qianfeng is Xu Yuqing's uncle. Xu Yuqing is having an affair with her uncle. Fuck. Xu Yuqing is only 21 years old this year, and she actually likes old people. Can't she eat something good? For a moment, everyone looked at Xu Yuqing. Xu Yuqing seemed to be struck by lightning, and she stood there in a daze. But the aunt next to her went crazy and beat Xu Yuqing. Xu Yuqing wanted to explain at first, but after being hit 3 times in a row, she stopped explaining. She shouted. Brother Feng is my man, and you old woman are not worthy of him. Brother Feng told me that he doesn't like you anymore, and is tired of you. He also said that you stink down there, so you should go to the hospital quickly. The aunt cried in anger, Xu Yuqing, you bastard. I'll strangle you to death. It's not certain who will strangle whom. Xu Yuqing was not willing to be outdone. The two women fought in a ball, and as the person involved, Wang Qianfeng was so scared that his neck shrank and he wanted to escape from the back door. Xu Yuqing blocked his way and pointed at his nose and cursed. Wang Qianfeng. Don't even think about running away. If you are a man, divorce that bitch now. Wang Qianfeng was shocked. He was a painter and was very talented in painting. It was because of his talent that he was liked by his aunt and also attracted Xu Yuqing. But apart from art, he was just a fat old man who was hollowed out by alcohol and sex. This scene scared him. He begged for mercy. Auntie, stop making trouble. Don't you see what kind of occasion it is today? Let's talk about divorce later. I have something else to do. I'll leave first. Alpaca. Xu Yuqing was instantly furious and slapped Wang Qianfeng on the fat face. The aunt rushed over, stop it. Pushing Xu Yuqing away, she turned around and asked Wang Qianfeng with concern. Husband, how are you? Does it hurt? Wang Qianfeng choked his mouth and said aggrievedly, it hurts so much. Seeing this, Xu Yuqing was furious. She grabbed a cup and threw it at the two people, shouting, you bitches. Plate, bowl, wine, ashtray, whatever you touched was thrown. For a while, the scene was very chaotic. A band was invited to play on the spot. At this moment, the musicians were also confused and stopped playing. Xia Qian walked towards a few people and took out a stack of red tickets. Play. The drummer collected the money quickly and asked Xia Qian with a smile, Sir, what do you want to listen to? Let's play Good Days. More passionate. Xia Qian said. Okay. The drummer started a tune and the musicians followed immediately. A cheerful melody sounded at the scene. The main performer was a little girl who cleared her throat and began to sing. Today is a good day, everything you want can come true. The noisy and messy scene, coupled with Good Days, is really a different experience. Xia Qian grabbed a handful of melon seeds and opened a bottle of beer. He usually doesn't like to drink white wine, but today, beer and melon seeds are the perfect match. Bang bang bang. A loud noise came and an old man with a cane, wearing a grey robe and white hair and a long beard came out, and the cane hit the floor 3 times fiercely. Stop it. Instantly. Everyone stopped and looked back at the birthday boy. Old Master Xia's face turned pale and he shouted. Are you going to rebel? Where is Xia Hai? The housekeeper replied with a dark face, Master, Xia Hai cheated on his wife and got into a fight with Qiyu's family and was dragged out. The old man's beard trembled and he asked again. Where is Xia Ning? The housekeeper lowered his head. He was refused entry by Dehao because of dog barking. Dog barking. The old man was stunned for a moment. Because of the fight, Xiaogu and Xu Yuqing were also dragged out. His 3 sons, the second and third, were gone, and the eldest was in charge of the company today. 2 grandsons and a granddaughter were all dragged out. Are all the descendants of the Xia family not here? The whole banquet hall was silent, and you could hear a pin drop. Grandpa. A figure stood out from the crowd. The moment he saw this person, the old man turned pale. He didn't faint until he was supported by his assistant. After a few seconds, he returned to normal. He snorted coldly. "You didn't die in prison. As early as 10 years ago, I expelled you from the Xia family's genealogy. You are no longer a member of the Xia family. What are you doing back here?" The music stopped, the hall was silent, and Xia Qian spoke softly in front of everyone. "Today, I came back just to ask you a question. Why did you kill your own son and daughter-in-law?" Chapter 8 Gift. Instantly, everyone's pupils trembled. "What do you mean? The one who killed Xia Meng was Old Man Xia. Not Xia Qian. No way. Who would kill his own son? Even a tiger won't eat its own cubs. But who can kill his own parents?" From Xia Qian's words, he denied killing people back then, and he thought the murderer was his grandfather. Exciting. The Xia family is getting more and more interesting. Under the spotlight, Old Man Xia's long beard trembled slightly, his small eyes narrowed, and he stared at Xia Qian intently. For 30 seconds, the old man did not move. After 30 seconds, he regained his composure and said with a painful look, "What a sin. The Xia family has been doing business honestly for generations. How could you be such a sinner? 10 years ago, you killed my father and mother. 10 years later, you put the blame on me again. What a sin. What a sin." The old man made a cross on his chest, put his hands together, looked at the ceiling, and prayed devoutly. "Lord, forgive me, a sinner. Please bless our Xia family." The old man's actions once again attracted everyone's discussion. Did Mr. Xia deny it? Nonsense. Of course he denied it. Even if he did it, he wouldn't admit it. What do you mean, do you think he did it? The murderer wasn't Xia Qian. I didn't say that, but looking at Xia Qian's appearance, he doesn't want to lie. Who is real and who is fake? Looking at the praying grandfather, Xia Qian smiled slightly. 10 years have passed and you have started to believe in the Lord. You have harmed so many people, including your own son and daughter-in-law. Will the Lord bless you? By the way, in addition to my father, you also killed my third uncle. For the sake of profit, you even killed your own son. The old man opened his eyes and a trace of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. Back then, I shouldn't have kept you. I should have found someone to let you die in prison. Because of my momentary kindness, you, the scourge, escaped. Now you are talking nonsense here again, accusing me of shit, trying to put your fault on my head. This case was closed 10 years ago. You are the murderer. You killed my father and mother. Everything is yours. The old man's voice was extremely loud, and he roared the last sentence, and his angry voice echoed throughout the hall. Everyone was terrified, holding their breath as they watched this farce. Xia Qian looked at the old man calmly. It's not that the loudest voice is right. 10 years ago, that night, I went home after attending a class reunion at 12 o'clock. The forensic doctor proved that my parents died at 10:30 and I was still at the reunion at 10:30. At that time, there was a female classmate who could testify for me. But the female classmate gave false testimony during the trial. She lied under your threat and instructions. Do you admit it? After Xia Qian's words, everyone turned their eyes to the old man again, waiting for the old man to give an answer. Heh. The old man sneered and said sarcastically, "What virtue do I have to threaten a female classmate? What do you mean by saying this now? Do you want to change your confession? Forget it. I know you won't admit it, so I invited this classmate back." Xia Qian gave an order. A woman in the crowd slowly stood up. She was leaning on a cane. Her face was sallow and her dark circles were huge. She was less than 20 years old, but her temples were grey. When he saw the woman, the old man's pupils trembled. "Mr. Xia, do you still remember me? My name is Yu Xiaxia. I am a classmate of Xia Qian. That night, we had a class reunion. Xia Qian sent me home. Before leaving, I looked at the time and it was 11 o'clock. The next day, I knew that something happened in the Xia family. The police were looking for witnesses. When I was about to testify, I was taken away by Mr. Xia. You bribed me with money first. I didn't agree at first, and then you threatened me. My leg was broken by you. Later, you drove our family out of Jiangnan. Originally, my family had a small restaurant with good business. After you drove us out of Jiangnan, we lost money on several businesses. My father died of depression. My mother and I sold vegetables in the market. We were often bullied because we were not locals. I am 26 years old this year. I can't find a boyfriend because I have a lame leg. All this is thanks to you. Yu Xiaxia turned to look at Xia Qian, tears in her vicissitudes of life. Xia Qian, I'm sorry. Back then, he threatened me with my parents' lives. I really didn't know what to do, so I made a false testimony. In the past 10 years, I have been unable to sleep and eat every time I think of this. Please forgive me. Yu Xiaxia bowed deeply to Xia Qian, tears fell on the floor, and her guilt was beyond words. It's not your fault. Xia Qian helped the man up and turned back to point at the old man. It's him. It's him who is wrong. Yu Xiaxia's words moved everyone present, and a business tycoon asked the old man puzzledly. Old Xia, why did you give false testimony? Xia Qian is your grandson. Even a tiger won't eat its own cubs, but you don't even let your own grandson go. For a moment, everyone looked at the old man. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, the old man was alone and began to panic. He yelled wildly. Slander! It's all slander. I don't know this girl at all. You said I broke your leg and asked you to give false testimony. What evidence do you have? As soon as the old man finished speaking, Yu Xiaxia spoke immediately. I have it. You gave me a sum of money to bribe me back then, and I have kept the transfer record. Seeing the transfer record, the old man's feet shook and he took 2 steps back, but he quickly steadied his feet and pointed at Yu Xiaxia and yelled with a red face. Liar! She's a liar! Someone, drag her out. Where are the security guards? Where are all the hotel security guards? Let the old man yell at the top of his lungs. The security guards did not move. The old man's eyes were red, staring at the security guards and yelling. Are you deaf? Can't you hear me when I tell you to drag this rubbish out? The hotel manager looked at the old man coldly and said in a cold voice, we didn't see any rubbish, we only saw an innocent person and a rubbish grandfather who made false evidence to harm his own grandson. I don't understand. Mr. Xia, why did you make false evidence to harm your own grandson? Chapter 9, deserted by everyone. As soon as the manager said this, everyone's eyes fell on the old man again. His cheeks were red, his eyes were bloodshot, and he yelled at the top of his lungs. I didn't make false testimony. Xia Qian is my grandson, why would I make false testimony to harm my grandson? This woman is deliberately slandering. She just wants to cheat a sum of money. I have seen many people like her who cheat money. There are so many people with the same name in the world. She just found a person with the same name to transfer 100,000 yuan and said it was me who transferred it. That 100,000 yuan sent her own grandson to jail. I can't do such a stupid thing. The old man's words made everyone fall into deep thought, and everyone talked about it. This woman's sudden appearance is indeed thought-provoking. The possibility of fraud cannot be ruled out. Hey! Xia Qian is old Xia's grandson after all. As the saying goes, even a tiger will not eat its own cubs, let alone his own grandson. Old Xia should not make false testimony. Seeing that everyone stood up for him, the old man felt a little more confident in his chest, pointing at Xia Qian angrily and scolding. Xia Qian! 10 years in prison didn't teach you a single lesson. The lesson is that knowing your mistakes can lead to improvement. You are released from prison today, and you find this lame woman to accuse me of false testimony. But don't forget that Xia Meng is my son, and you are my grandson. You are both my most beloved people. Xia Meng's death makes me extremely sad. Yu Fei had no choice. How could I accuse you? I have no reason to falsely testify. You have. As soon as the old man finished speaking, a fat middle-aged man in the hall stood up. The moment he stood up, the old man's face was shocked, staring at him and roaring. Xu Zhibin, what are you going to do? Xu Zhibin pushed his glasses and said coldly, I'm going to tell the truth today. Before President Xia and Madame Xia were killed, they made a will. In the will, it was clearly specified that the successor to the Xia Group was young Master Xia Qian, and 51% of the shares of the Xia Group were owned by young Master Xia Qian alone. Other members of the Xia family retained their positions and had no right of succession. After President Xia and Madame Xia passed away, you found this will. If you want to get the Xia Group, you must kick young Master Xia Qian out. You gave false testimony. You caused young Master Xia Qian to betray and be imprisoned for 10 years, and he was deprived of his political rights and lost his inheritance rights. The Xia Group fell into your hands. So, You and your family all gave false testimony. The Xia Group is a family business, but in fact it was built by Xia Meng alone. The old man only knew how to eat, drink and have fun every day. The company suffered losses year after year in his hands. Xia Meng spent more than 10 years to turn the tide and turned the Xia Group from a small family into a billionaire family. A month before Xia Meng's death, it was announced that the assets of the Xia Group exceeded 10 billion. In a blink of an eye, he and his wife were killed at home, and his son was sentenced to prison for killing his father and mother. All this. There is only one beneficiary. Old Xia. Fuck, old Xia is so cruel that he doesn't even let his own grandson go in order to snatch the inheritance. TSK, old Xia's character. We can't cooperate with such a greedy person in the future. Yes, we can't cooperate with him anymore. Yu Xiaxia's accusation, Xu Zhibin's change of attitude, and the discussions of the crowd were like a sharp knife, stabbing the old man's body one by one, stabbing him bloody, and the housekeeper Lao Li hurriedly came up to support the old man. Master, it's useless to talk to him. No matter how sharp his teeth are, it's just a verbal dispute. He is a labor reformer who just got out of prison and can't shake the foundation of the Xia Group. The words of the housekeeper Lao Li made the old man calm down. He nodded repeatedly. That's right, it's useless to argue with him. Go, find a few people and kick him out. As soon as the old man finished speaking, a young man stood up. The young man had handsome features and a hint of cynicism on his lips. He stood up, glanced at the old man, and said loudly, "From today on, Cant Logistics will terminate its cooperation with Xia Group. We are in the business world and we value friendship. How can a person who even harms his own grandson have any friendship? I don't want to be trapped in jail one day and help count money. Let's go." The young man turned around and left, his back was chic. In the hall, after a few seconds of silence, a middle-aged woman stood up. Her voice was not loud but unusually firm. From today on, Huayuzi terminates the cooperation with Xia Group. Looking at the woman's back, the old man gritted his teeth and cursed secretly, she has long hair but short knowledge. She cancels the cooperation just because someone provokes her. If she cancels, she will cancel. Xia Group doesn't care about such a small company that sells cosmetics. The housekeeper Lao Li on the side was anxious. Master, Huayuzi makes a profit of 100 million yuan for the group every year. 100 million yuan. The old man's face changed suddenly. He wanted to keep her, but she had already left. Ha ha. A cold laugh came from the hall, and a middle-aged man with grey hair stood up and clapped his hands. It's really wonderful. What a great show. I've really broadened my horizons today. The middle-aged man bowed to the old man and said politely, "Thank you for taking care of me for the past 10 years. From today on, Jinghe Steel Structure and Xia Group will cancel their cooperation. Goodbye." Seeing that the middle-aged man was about to leave, the old man was scared and hurried to keep him. Don't go. Mr. Zhong, let's talk it over. Xia Group has cooperated with Jinghe Steel Structure for many years and has always been very happy. Mr. Zhong is a man of great achievements, but we must not let our cooperation be affected by a few words from outsiders. Jinghe Steel Structure is the largest partner of Xia Group, accounting for 50% of Xia Group's profits. Once the cooperation with Jinghe Steel Structure is terminated, Xia Group's revenue will be directly reduced by 50%. It's like taking half of Xia Group's life. He is not an outsider. The middle-aged man pointed at Xia Tian and said with a smile, "He is your grandson. You cheated your grandson for money. I am just an outsider. I can't guarantee that I will be cheated by old Xia one day. I just want to make a little money. I don't have such big ambitions. I am not as cruel as old Xia." The middle-aged man bowed to everyone. Everyone, today's big show shows how good old Xia's character is. Everyone has seen it clearly. Jinghe Steel Structure dares not cooperate with Xia Group anymore. You please do as you please. Originally, there were several partners who were hesitating. When they heard what the middle-aged man said, they stood up one after another. He said loudly, "We will not cooperate either. People who can cheat their own grandsons, such people cannot cooperate. The mountains and rivers will never change, old Xia, we will never meet again. Don't go." The old man wanted to keep him, but everyone ignored him. In just a few minutes, more than half of the partners of Xia Group ran away. The remaining few small partners could not bring much profit. In an instant, all cooperation with Xia Group was stopped. Butler loudly said to the old man with a pale face. Master. Without cooperation, Shia Group's funds can only support 3 months. 3 months later. The old man looked pale. 3 months later, Shia Group will face bankruptcy. Not only bankruptcy. Butler loudly said quietly, Shia Group owes $1 billion to the bank. In addition to bankruptcy, there may be a prison sentence. Master is the head of Shia Group, and the first one to be arrested is Master. $1 billion enough to be shot. Hearing the word shot, the old man's blood rushed to his heart, his eyes rolled back, and he fainted directly. Chapter 10 I Believe in You. 90% of Shia Group's partners have terminated their cooperation. In less than 3 months, Shia Group will go bankrupt. Besides, the old man has a property abroad. He was ready to run away at any time. The next plan has been arranged. The old man will fall into our trap step by step and end up with nothing. Xu Chengfeng curled up his lips into a smile. The autumn wind was bleak, blowing off the few leaves left on the trees. The bare branches looked somewhat pitiful. The leaves are gone, but the trunk is still there. When the spring breeze blows, the dead tree will continue to sprout, year after year, for hundreds of years without rotting. But if the roots are lifted up, they will die within 3 days. Xia Qian spoke softly. Spread the news. Chenhe Group will invest 30 billion yuan in Jiangnan City and is preparing to attract investment. Chenhe Group's investment will attract all companies to seek cooperation, including Xia Group. Today is just an appetizer, and Xia's revenge will come one after another. Xia Ning, Xia Hai, Xia Yuqing, sister-in-law. Everyone will be liquidated. No one can escape. Within 3 months, the old man will personally kneel in front of Xia Qian, admit his crimes, and kowtow to apologize. Boss Xia, I'll arrange it right away. In addition, Xu Chengfeng hesitated for a moment and said, Chu Xia is here. What is she doing here? There were some surprises in the summer. Xu Chengfeng shook his head. She came 20 minutes ago, carrying a gift. She might have wanted to give a gift, but she has been standing at the door and didn't come in. She is still at the door and hasn't left yet. I see. Before leaving, he told Xu Chengfeng, I have time tonight and can go treat Mr. Xu and Mrs. Xu. Wait for my call later. Xu Chengfeng's face lit up with joy, and he quickly bowed and thanked her. Thank you, President Xia. There is a pavilion at the entrance of Dahouda Hotel. Chu Xia is sitting alone on a stone bench, teasing a stray cat in the grass. Mimi, Mimi, come here and I will take care of you. After teasing for a while, the cat walked towards Chu Xia cautiously. Suddenly, the cat startled, turned around and disappeared. You. Chu Xia turned around angrily, and when she saw it was Xia Qian, she immediately shut her mouth. Are you here to celebrate the birthday? Xia Qian asked. Chu Xia nodded without saying anything. Why don't you go in and give gifts for your birthday? You don't want to eat the gift yourself, do you? Do I look like such a greedy person? Chu Xia rolled her eyes and complained, I don't like occasions like this. My dad told me to come. He said it's your grandfather's birthday and I should come and give him a gift. Since my sisters are no longer here, I was asked to come and see them off. Actually, I don't want to come at all. I have social phobia. Take the gift back. I don't want to go in. Your grandfather looks so scary. He looks more like a murderer than you do. Xia Qian didn't argue with her and took the gift box. By the way, there will be a family dinner at the end of tomorrow. My dad wants to invite you to join us. Do you have time? Okay. Xia Qian nodded. Send me the time and place and I will be there on time. 10 years ago, Xia Qian's parents passed away and he was imprisoned. Everyone in the Xia family deserted him, but only one person stood firmly by his side. Chu Yanqian. In prison, Chu Yanqian saved 20,000 yuan for Xia Qian every month as pocket money. It was with this 20,000 yuan that Xia Qian met his master. The master liked to drink a little wine, so Xia Qian treated him to a drink and he taught Xia Qian how to practice Qigong. Eventually, Xia Qian became what he is today. If it weren't for Chu Yanqian, Xia Qian would have rotted to death in prison long ago. Uncle Chu, what happened recently? When he went to the Chu family today, in addition to meeting the Chu family's daughter, Xia Qian wanted to see Chu Yanqian more. In Xia Qian's heart, Chu Yanqian was second only to his father. Very busy, I haven't seen him all day. Actually, I don't want to study anymore. I also want to work and earn money. I don't want to be a parasite. Chu Xia's voice sounded a little lonely. Oh? What kind of job can you do? Xia Qian asked. You ask this as if I don't know anything. Being looked down upon by Xia Qian, Chu Xia pouted in anger. Actually, I'm an internet celebrity. Internet celebrity? Xia Qian doesn't quite approve of the profession of internet celebrity. Feeling Xia Qian's disdain, Chu Xia explained, I'm not the kind of internet celebrity you think. I just shared the songs I wrote online. It was just for fun at first. I didn't expect so many people would like to listen to them. An entertainment company even approached me to sign a contract. It said that one song can be sold for 3,000 yuan. Although 3,000 yuan is not a lot of money, when I have inspiration, I can write a song in 10 minutes. But Dad told me to study hard. I don't know what to do. There seems to be an entertainment company under the Chena Group, which was developed by Xu Chengfeng a few years ago. It is said that the online videos have become popular and the host sales have reached tens of millions overnight. It is a new hot project. Xia Qian has basically never been in charge of the company. You can ask Xu Chengfeng to inquire about it. What's your name? I'll go check it out. Xia Qian took out his cell phone. Unexpectedly, Chu Xia looked alert. What are you going to do? Surveillance. Summer. Why am I spying on you? Who knows what you want to do? After all, you are a bad guy. Chu Xia glanced at Xia Qian. Tell Uncle Chu that I will attend the family dinner tomorrow. Putting the phone in his pocket, Xia Qian turned and left. Chu Xia hurriedly chased after him. Hey, don't go, are you angry? Hey, I was just kidding you. Don't be angry. She was not tall, had a high ponytail, and looked quirky. He looked down at her. Are you not afraid of a murderer like me now? Don't be afraid. Chu Xia grinned. I believe you are not a murderer. This was beyond Xia Qian's expectations. Why? Because Dad believes in you. Chu Xia said seriously. I asked Dad, he said it was all your grandfather's fault. You are innocent. Your grandfather gave false testimony, took your inheritance rights, and threw you into prison, but you are actually innocent. Xia Qian felt a warm feeling in his heart. The only person in this world who believed that he was innocent was Chu Yanqian. Also, there is a gift I left for you in the wine box. I'm going home first. As if afraid that Xia Qian would refuse, Chu Xia ran away without looking back. Opened the wine box in summer. Under the wine box, there were 30,000 yuan and a note. Chapter 11, Little Doctor. You just got out, and your relationship with the Xia family isn't good. This money is for you to start a new life. This is the money I made from making videos. I saved it up bit by bit. It's all clean money, so you can use it without worry. Well, don't be too bold, spend it sparingly, don't spend it all at once. Signed, Chu Huahua. There is also a smiley face drawn next to it. Chena Group is worth tens of billions and Xia Qian has trillions of funds available at any time in his bank account. He can earn 30,000 yuan in the blink of an eye. But at this moment, the 30,000 yuan made him feel warm. Chu Xia, Chu Yanqian, they are not related to him in any way, but they treat him like family. However, his real family members want to kill him. This is life. Call. After taking several deep breaths, Xia Qian called Xu Chengfeng. Drive over and pick me up. Also, sign an internet celebrity named Chu Huahua to the company. Yes. Xu Chengfeng immediately went to do it. I'll pick you up right away. Xu Chengfeng drove very fast. In less than 2 minutes, he drove over to pick up Xia Qian. Seeing that Xia Qian was holding a bottle of Maotai in his hand, he asked curiously. Boss Xia, is this wine ready to drink? Save this wine for me, put it in the safe, and no one is allowed to touch it except me. This wine is very important to me. There is now one more thing he cherishes and one more person he cherishes in this world. 10 minutes later. Xu Chengfeng knocked on the door of the presidential suite, and an elegant lady opened the door, and when she saw Xu Chengfeng and Xia Qian, she bowed respectfully. Little miracle doctor. In the room, besides the woman, there were 3 other people, one of whom was an old man with grey hair, and the other 2 were the woman's son and husband. The 2 men bowed immediately when they saw Xia Qian. Meet the little miracle doctor. I heard that the young genius doctor is so skilled in using the 13 ghost needles that he can bring the dead back to life. Today, I saw that the young genius doctor is so young. The stars on TV are not as cool as the little miracle doctor. Xia Qian has seen this kind of courtesy too many times and has become immune to it. Mr. Xu, right? Mrs. Xu is in the advanced stage of breast cancer. Mr. Xu nodded repeatedly. Yes, my wife was diagnosed 5 years ago. It was not serious at the time and she had surgery. She was doing well in the first few years, but it suddenly worsened this year. The lesions have metastasized to the axillary lymph nodes and both lungs. The hospital has already sentenced me to death. We have no other options, so we asked Chengfeng to help us contact the little genius doctor. Please ask the little doctor for help. Mr. Xu is the richest man in the neighboring city and is a childhood friend of Xu Chengfeng. Xia Qian has a basic understanding of Xu Chengfeng's condition and can provide treatment at any time. However, what is the situation with the old man next to him? Who is this? He is the owner of Jiafengtang and also the vice president of Jiangnan City Chinese Medicine Association. He is known as Mr. Qian. Mr. Xu was afraid that Xia Qian would be angry, so he invited him to come and also found another doctor and quickly explained, Mr. Qian and my father have been friends for many years. Today he came to Jiangnan to seek medical treatment and Mr. Qian came here specially to help take a look. Chengfeng told us to stay on standby at the hotel, saying that the little doctor would be here anytime. We didn't expect that the little miracle doctor would come today. It was just a coincidence that we ran into him. It's fate that we met. Mr. Qian, this is the little miracle doctor I mentioned to you. Mr. Qian was over 70 years old, thin, with long eyebrows, fine eyes, white beard, square face, white hair and a youthful face. He had an air of an immortal. He bowed to Xia Qian. I've heard of the little genius doctor's name for a long time and meeting him today is really a coincidence. I just don't know where the little divine doctor came from. Xia Qian glanced at Mr. Qian. He had an extraordinary aura. He had been practicing medicine all his life and had never done anything wrong. Xia Qian has great respect for this kind of doctor. The master didn't tell me the door number, so I can't answer your question. Since we've met, Mr. Qian, please stay. Old Qian's face lit up with joy. Normally, when practicing medicine, no outsiders were allowed to watch except the patient's family members, especially colleagues. What if someone learned his skills? According to the rules of the underworld, when treatment is being given, colleagues must withdraw on their own. The young genius doctor was not afraid that he would steal his skills, so generous. Mrs. Xu. Just lie down on the bed. I will treat you now. As soon as Xia Qian finished speaking, Xu Chengfeng immediately handed over the silver needles he had prepared. The silver needles were very ordinary, the kind that cost more than 10 yuan a box in the pharmacy. He opened the silver needles. Start dropping the needle. Ghost Palace, Ghost Cave, Ghost Fortress, Ghost Road, Ghost Market, Ghost Hall, Ghost Pillow, Ghost Heart, Ghost Legs, Ghost Faith, Ghost Camp, Ghost Hiding Place, Ghost Minister. Every time a position is mentioned, a needle is dropped. 13 stitches in total. It took less than a minute. Then, Xia Qian went to wash his hands and said to a few people, use the static needle retention method. Wait for 5 minutes before removing it. Everyone looked at each other, and the Xu family's father and son looked at each other. That's it. It looks pretty simple. Can a few injections cure the disease? Not only the two of them, but even old Qian was puzzled. He had heard of the magic of the 13 ghost needles a long time ago. He had studied medicine all his life and always wanted to learn this strange acupuncture method. It is said that the 13 ghost needles can bring the dead back to life. But the acupuncture performed by the young doctor did not show any style of a master. The way of acupuncture was exactly the same as that of his disciples. He could not even be considered a master. Who doesn't know how to insert silver needles into several acupuncture points? Any of Mr. Qian's disciples can do it. Is this the little miracle doctor? Just when everyone was puzzled, the 13 silver needles suddenly began to tremble in unison and the ends of the needles made a buzzing sound. Black liquid visible to the naked eye overflowed from Mrs. Xu's 13 acupuncture points. It started as a little bit, then gradually turned into a trickle. This scene shocked everyone. Oh my God, what is this? Is this blood? Mr. Xu exclaimed. Chen Lao was so shocked that his beard stood up and he exclaimed. That's the evil thing inside the body. The evil things actually overflowed directly. Cancer is the name used in Western medicine. In the world of traditional Chinese medicine, cancer is the invasion of evil things. The treatment plan is to expel the evil things and restore the body to good health. The disease can be cured by excreting them from the body. The general methods for expelling evil substances are acupuncture, massage, and medication. 99% of them take medicine. After taking the medicine, the evil substances are expelled from the body through sweat, feces, urine, tears, etc. This is the first time I have seen evil substances being expelled from the acupuncture points. Little miracle doctor, you are truly an expert. Old Chen looked at Xia Qian, his eyes full of admiration. Since Mr. Chen can understand it, he has entered the door. Next, I will write a prescription and Mr. Chen will take care of picking and boiling the medicine. In 3 days, Madame Xu will be cured. After you recover, you need to take a nutritional prescription to nourish your body. This recipe will be prepared by Mr. Chen. As soon as Xia Qian opened his mouth, old Chen quickly bowed, like a junior, his tone full of respect. Chen Yuyan thanks the little genius doctor. It was a great honor to be able to write prescriptions for the miracle doctor. Mr. Chen was as excited as a young girl in love, with his face flushed. Xia Qian wrote down a prescription with a flourish and handed it to Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen took the prescription with both hands, his face full of excitement. Chen Yuyan will definitely live up to the little genius doctor's expectations. I will personally prepare this medicine for Madame Xu. Doctors of Mr. Chen's level no longer prepare medicines themselves, but the little doctor's prescriptions must be prepared by him personally, as his disciples are not worthy of his prescriptions. 5 minutes later, Xia Qian pulled out the silver needle. Mrs. Xu's clothes were covered with filth, but she was in very good spirits. With the help of Mr. Xu, she stood up and bowed to Xia Qian. Thank you, little doctor. Thank you, little doctor, for saving my life. Mrs. Xu glanced at her husband and Mr. Xu immediately understood. He hurriedly took out a bank card and handed it to her with both hands. Little genius doctor, there is 10 million in consultation fees on this card. Please accept it. Looking at the bank card, old Chen felt envious. He had practiced medicine for a lifetime and the most he had ever collected for a consultation was only 1 million, but the young miracle doctor made 10 million with just one move. In comparison, the gap is huge. Just as Mr. Chen was feeling envious, Xia Qian spoke. Chapter 12 Setting the Game. There is no need for consultation fee. It is good to practice in the government. Practicing medicine and treating illnesses is also a form of spiritual practice. I never charge for my practice. Mrs. Xu is fine now. If you have any follow-up questions, you can always contact me, Mr. Xu. Xia Qian's words shocked old Chen and his face turned red with shame. This little miracle doctor doesn't want money. Mr. Xu looked at Xu Chengfeng in great shock. Which miracle doctor I met in the past didn't he charge a lot? The more famous he was, the higher his fees were. This was the first time I heard of a doctor who treated patients for free. Xu Chengfeng smiled. Before I came, I forgot to tell you that the little divine doctor only practices medicine for the sake of cultivation and never charges any fees. If the little doctor really wants to charge a fee, will your 10 million be enough? Mr. Xu's family of 3 blushed instantly. In fact, they had another card with 100 million on it. If Mrs. Xu's life could be saved, they were willing to give 100 million. Before coming here, the family of 3 was worried that if they gave 100 million yuan, the young doctor would think they were rich and ask for more. So, they take 10 million first. If the young doctor disagrees, bargain and give him 100 million. I never expected it. Bang. Mr. Xu raised his hand and slapped himself, cursing, I am such a piece of shit. Bang. Mrs. Xu and her son also slapped themselves. The family of 3 bowed to Xu Chengfeng. Chengfeng, the little doctor has done us a great favor. From now on, if the little doctor needs anything, just let the Xu family know. The Xu family will definitely repay you with all their might. Given our relationship, there's no need to be so polite. Xu Chengfeng helped the man up. Mr. Xu sighed, the little miracle doctor is really an expert. By the way, what's the name of the little doctor? Xu Chengfeng said, the little genius doctor is relatively low-key and doesn't want to make a big fuss. As for his name, you don't need to ask too much. The little doctor sees patients once a week. The little miracle doctor doesn't treat everyone. He treats patients based on fate. People who are extremely evil are not qualified to see him for treatment. As long as there is a destiny, the little doctor will definitely help. Mr. Xu was extremely excited and kept saying this. The little doctor is truly an outsider. I'll tell my old friends about this. Mr. Xu immediately took out his phone and posted a message to his friends, little miracle doctor from Jiangnan City, saved my wife's life. He must be a banished immortal, a master. As the richest man in the city, Mr. Xu is a well-known figure in the circle of wealthy people. Most people know that Mrs. Xu is in the late stage of cancer. When this message was posted on WeChat Moments, it immediately attracted a lot of attention. What? Even advanced cancer can be cured. Who is this little miracle doctor? You guys chat first, I have something to do in Jiangnan City. Don't come. Jiangnan City doesn't welcome you. The little genius doctor is ours. Whoever dares to snatch the little miracle doctor from me, I will fight him to the death. In just 10 minutes, this post received more than 3,000 likes and over 10,000 comments, and its popularity was no less than a stock market crash. Mr. Xu smiled and said to Xu Chengfeng, "The little miracle doctor has become an instant celebrity." Xu Chengfeng nodded with satisfaction. This was exactly their purpose, to establish the reputation of the little miracle doctor and then wait for the old man to take the bait. Chu Xia took off her shoes and coat and was about to go back to her room when Zhao Yulian suddenly rushed out and questioned her with red eyes. "Did you go to see the murderer?" "What murderer?" "Dad said he was innocent." As soon as Chu Xia heard Zhao Yulian's words, she felt annoyed for no reason. "I just went to deliver a gift. Today is the birthday of the old man of the Xia family. Have you seen him?" Zhao Yulian stared at Chu Xia without relaxing. "Yes, I did." "What's the matter?" Not only did she meet him, she also gave him the money she had saved. Of course, Chu Xia didn't dare to say this because Zhao Yulian didn't like Xia Qian. "You are not allowed to see him again." Sure enough, when Zhao Yulian heard that Chu Xia had met Xia Qian, she immediately turned hostile. "He is a labor camp inmate, and he just took a marriage contract and asked our Chu family to marry one of his daughters. Although I have 5 daughters, each of them is precious. Don't give him any." "But Dad said he was wronged." Chu Xia wanted to say a few words for Xia Qian. Zhao Yulian choked him out. "Your father knows nothing. Your father has the final say on company matters, but I have the final say on family matters. If I disagree, I don't agree." Chu Xia didn't want to get married either. What she was pursuing was love. She didn't like this kind of arranged marriage by her family, but she felt a little worried when she thought about the engagement. She said weakly, "But if you don't marry me, you have to give him 100 million. "Why give him 100 million? Give me a fart. I don't have a daughter, and I don't have 100 million either. Giving him 2 slaps is probably enough. If he dares to come to my house and ask for money, I'll find someone to beat him up. A prisoner dares to speak so arrogantly. Who gives him the courage?" Zhao Yulian became angry, and Chu Xia was also a little scared. "Mom, I'm going back to my room first." Etc. Zhao Yulian grabbed Chu Xia, and her fierce face was filled with a motherly smile. Xia, don't be afraid. Mom is not targeting you. There's something I want to tell you. Tomorrow, when the family gathers, Li Peng will also go. Mom knows you hate Li Peng, but Fang Wei's family has a huge mineral resource. As long as we can get on this train with him, the Chu family can transform. You just need to use a little trick to keep Li Peng's heart. After the Chu family and the Li family signed the contract, you don't have to care about Li Peng anymore." Chu Xia looked unhappy. "How can I avoid being taken advantage of and still keep Li Peng? You are so stupid." Zhao Yulian rolled her eyes. "Isn't it easy for a woman to keep a man hanging? When he proposed to you, you said that your studies were your priority, but after graduation, you could consider him. If he gets angry, just be a little more proactive. No initiative, no rejection. Do you understand? Isn't this a scumbag?" "I don't want to be a scumbag." Chu Xia refused. Bang. Zhao Yulian slapped her in the face, pointed at her nose and scolded, "This is the only way to solve the Chu family's crisis. I don't care whether you are willing or not. You are old enough now, it's time for you to contribute something to the family. Okay, I've already made an appointment with Li Peng. You'll get engaged in front of Grandma tomorrow." Chapter 13 Chu Xia's helplessness. "You're going too far." Chu Xia had never suffered such an injustice before. She covered her face and ran to the study. She wanted to find Chu Yanqian. Her father was her harbor, but when she opened the door of the study, it was empty. Zhao Yulian's voice came from behind. "Your father isn't home. Recently, your father hasn't been home for half a month because of business matters. If you really love him, then share his worries and become Li Peng's girlfriend, and your dad will naturally come home. Think about it yourself." After returning to the room, Chuxia cried for a long time until her third sister sent her a message. A group of 5 golden flowers. Third sister, wow, today the master met the young doctor. He said that the young doctor is very young and handsome, 183 centimeters tall, handsome, and talented. Moreover, the young doctor doesn't charge for his medical treatment. Even the master admires him and wants to become his disciple. At Chuxia Shaoxia, come out and chat with third sister. Chuxia wiped her tears and said, congratulations, third sister. I wish you can marry the little genius doctor soon. Third sister, nothing has happened yet. I can't even see the little doctor. But the master said that the little doctor will consult once a week. Sooner or later, I will meet him. Xiaozi, what did you do today? Chuxia's nose was sore, and she complained to her third sister about her grievance. Mom asked me to get engaged to Li Peng. Third sister, Li Peng. That stupid son of the Li family. He is not worthy of you. What does Mom think? Fourth sister, I don't agree. Second sister, who is Li Peng? When I get back, I'll beat him to death with one punch. Chuxia hesitated for a moment, wondering whether she should tell her sisters about what happened at home, but she was afraid that they would worry. After all, it wasn't easy for them outside. Especially my second sister. I have been in the army for almost 10 years and have never been home once. I don't know what I am busy with outside. Don't add to their troubles. Mom likes Li Peng, but I don't. Let's just hold it for now. Oh, by the way, our fiancé is not a murderer, he is innocent. Third sister, how do you know? Don't be fooled by him. After all, you are stupid. Dad said so. He said he was innocent and he didn't look like the murderer. Chuxia said. Third sister, you don't like him, do you? How could that be? Chuxia pouted. How could I possibly like someone I've only known for one day? I'm not a love brain person. Mom doesn't agree with us marrying him, but according to the marriage contract, if we break the contract, we have to pay him 100 million. Third sister, 100 million. My salary is only 2,000 a month. Fourth sister, it's only 100 million. When I build a bridge with Tianhe, I will make 100 million and compensate him. Second sister, it's only 100 million. I'll go home in 3 months and give him 1 billion and tell him to get lost. The eldest sister jumped out weakly, you are really rich. When I go down the mountain to beg for alms, you can give me more. Several sisters. Sister, you are so poor. The eldest sister sighed, I can't help it. I am a monk, and monks are all poor. Second sister, bullshit. The monks I saw overseas were Patek Philippe's, drove Maybachs, and had bags. They kept young models and celebrities and had too much money to spend. The eldest sister said excitedly, that is a fake monk. Monks are a bunch of people who abandon morality for the sake of profit. How can they compare with my Sanqing temple? Taoists and monks have disliked each other since ancient times. Taoists dislike monks for being fat and greasy, while monks dislike Taoists for being poor and pretentious. Anyway, it just doesn't look right to me. Second sister, TSK. Wait for me to come back in 3 months. It's only 100 million. I'll pay for it. Third sister, don't wait 3 months. Transfer 100 million to me now. No. 50 million will be enough. Second sister, I'll give you 50 million in 3 months, but not now. Third sister, why not now? Second sister, no, then no, why are you talking so much nonsense? Third sister, oh. Looking at the chat history, Chuxia silently clicked on the third sister's avatar and started a private chat with her. Third sister, have you heard about what's going on at home? The company has been trying to transform itself, but it has failed several times. Among the 5 sisters, the third sister is the most down-to-earth. The eldest sister is a female Taoist priest, the fourth sister is a cold female CEO, and as for the second sister, she is a soldier, and all she talks about is fighting and killing. Chuxia often discusses things with the third sister. The third sister sighed and said, when I went home last month, Mom mentioned that Li Peng. Mom asked you to get engaged to him because of the company, right? Chuxia was unwilling, but she felt that it was her responsibility to help share the burden for the family, and she was very conflicted. But I really hate him. Third sister, do you hate him, or do you think he's ugly? Oh, he is so ugly, with a big nose like a hippopotamus. Chuxia stuck out her tongue. Third sister, is that Xia Qian handsome? Handsome. Thinking of Xia Qian, Chu Xia showed a feminine smile, three-dimensional facial features, elegant temperament, a long-legged upper. TSK, from the sound of your voice, are you attracted to him? The third sister knew that Chu Xia liked handsome guys. I just admire it, I can't say I like it. By the way, he will be at the family dinner tomorrow. Chu Xia asked, you should be back, right? The eldest sister, the second sister, and the fourth sister are not coming back. If you don't come back, I'll be alone. The third sister sent a smiling emoji, don't worry, I have already told the master that I will go back tomorrow. How could I leave you alone? Just let me have a look at that summer. Chu Xia breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that her third sister was coming back and she didn't have to face the Shura field alone. See you tomorrow then. Putting down the phone, Chu Xia tossed and turned in bed for a while, unable to fall asleep. At this moment, a deep voice came from outside the door, and Chu Xia's eyes lit up. He immediately jumped out of bed, opened the door and shouted, Dad! Chu Yanqian was carrying a briefcase. He looked much thinner after not seeing the little girl for a week. When he saw the little girl, a smile appeared on his face. Xia is at home too. Have you been good this week? Have you done your homework well? Chu Xia is still in college. Hearing her father's concern, Chu Xia felt wronged instantly, her eyes red. Dad, or why don't you come home recently? I have a lot to say to you. What did you say? You said I hit you. You said I forced you to get engaged to Li Peng. You're going to tell your dad about me, right? Zhao Yulian came out of the room with a sharp voice, which frightened Chu Xia so much that she shrank her neck and dared not speak again. Okay. Xia has grown up, just say a few words, why did you still resort to violence? Xia, come here. As soon as Chu Yanqian opened his arms, Chu Xia immediately threw herself into his arms, sobbing and telling Chu Yanqian all the grievances in her heart. Heh. If you have any problem, just go find your dad. When can you help your dad share his worries? Haven't you noticed that your father's hair has turned white? I don't feel sorry at all. Zhao Yulian's words were harsh, but they touched Chu Xia's heart. She looked up at Chu Yanqian's hair, which was already half white. Dad is old. Dad, I was wrong. Chu Xia's eyes turned red, and she lowered her head and said, if Li Peng is willing to help the Chu family, then I will marry him. Chapter 14 The Chaos of the Xia Family. Xia Family. Sitting on the armchair, old Master Xia half closed his eyes and wore an oxygen mask on his mouth and nose. Everyone was so frightened that they dared not even breathe. Xia Hai, Xia Ning, and Xia Yuqing knelt for 2 full hours, and they didn't dare to stand up until the old man gave the order. Dad. What happened today is all the fault of that evil boy Xia Qian. The 3 of them are innocent too. The person speaking was Xia Feng. Today was the old man's birthday party, he was in the company and was not present, but when he heard about the accident, he rushed back immediately. Snort. The young girl snorted coldly, her voice sharp. Innocent? Who is innocent? Xia Hai had a mistress outside, and she got pregnant and someone came to his house. Qi Yu ran away, and the people of the Qi family were also offended. And your wonderful daughter? She is so young and shameless, and she is having an affair with her uncle. Is she innocent? Upon hearing what her aunt said, Xia Yuqing became unhappy and looked up and cursed. We are true love. What do you mean by shameless? He has mentioned divorce to you countless times, but you are the one who keeps pestering him. You call yourself a strong woman, pestering a man relentlessly. Is this something a strong woman can do? You shut up. The younger sister was furious and rushed forward, grabbing Xia Yuqing's hair and starting to fight with her. Old woman, I'll tear your face apart. Xia Yuqing was not willing to be outdone. The 2 women were tearing at each other, swearing at all kinds of things and calling for their mothers a lot. That's enough. Xia Feng separated the 2 people and yelled, isn't this messy enough? Xia Group is about to go bankrupt and you are still quarreling over such a trivial matter. It's a small matter. The aunt stared at her eldest brother with her scarlet eyes and cursed, your daughter seduced my husband. You say this is a small matter. Xia Feng. He glanced at Xia Yuqing and sighed, feeling disappointed. I will give you an explanation for this matter, but right now, the most urgent thing is to resolve the company's affairs. Once the Xia Group goes bankrupt, all of your houses, cars, and money in your accounts will be confiscated. Even if confiscations are not enough, you will most likely be sentenced. Do you want to go to jail? With just one sentence, everyone fell silent. If you lose a man, you can find another one, but if you lose your money, you're all done for. The young girl snorted coldly. Humph, Shia Group is a multi-billion-dollar company with more than a dozen businesses. How can it be so easy for it to go bankrupt? Haven't you heard that a skinny camel is bigger than a horse? At worst, we can sell the company and divide the 10 billion equally. Each person will get at least 1 billion, and they won't have to worry about the rest of their lives. As soon as the aunt said this, Xia Hai, Xia Ning and others nodded, agreeing with her opinion. After buying the company, everyone shared the money, and each person would get 10 billion. As long as they didn't waste it, it would be enough for the next lifetime. Therefore, when they heard that the Xia Group was going to go bankrupt, they didn't panic at all. A company worth hundreds of billions, what is there to be afraid of? You guys are so stupid. Xia Feng was so angry that he closed his eyes and almost passed out. Xia Group is no longer a billion-dollar company. Since the death of the second brother, the Xia Group has been shrinking over the past 10 years. Now it doesn't even have 5 billion yuan, and at most it has 2 billion yuan. When everyone heard that 5 billion was gone, they were a little worried, but when they heard that there was still 2 billion, they breathed a sigh of relief. 2 billion is enough to share. It's enough if you spend sparingly. Xia Feng's next words made them despair, but Xia Group still owes the bank 10 billion. Even if I sell the company, it won't be enough to pay back the bank. Everyone. Uncle, what do you mean? Xia Ning was the first to stand up, glaring at Xia Feng. How come Xia Group is in arrears when you are running it? Back when my second uncle was running it, he didn't owe the bank a penny. It's only been 10 years. Is it the company that owes the money, or did you take the money away? Xia Hai yelled, you fart. My dad works diligently every day and runs the company, and he gets exactly the same percentage as you do. You are all good for nothings who do nothing but spend money. When have you ever thought about running a company? Now you're turning the tables. Xia Ning cursed, fuck, I just asked one question, why are you so anxious? I think you guys are desperate. All the money has been taken away by your family. Otherwise, why would the company shrink so quickly? Ha! Xia Feng snorted coldly. Why is it shrinking so fast? Don't you know the reason? Are you still asking me? In an instant, everyone's eyes fell on the old man. The old man, who had been resting with his eyes closed, slowly opened his eyelids and glared at the descendants of the Xia family with his scarlet eyes. He took off the oxygen mask and questioned. What are you all looking at me for? Did I spend all my money? The old man likes to gamble, and he throws hundreds of millions of dollars into the casino every year. In addition, the old man lives an extravagant life, and he spends the most money in the entire family. People often talk about it in private, but they dare not speak out. At this moment, the old man opened his mouth. Everyone lowered their heads. Xia Feng said, Dad, the most urgent thing now is to win back those partners. Especially Xinghe Steel Structure, which brings 50% of the group's profits every year. As long as Xinghe Steel Structure agrees to continue cooperation, Xia Group can still operate. Back then, it was you, Dad, who personally collaborated with Mr. Zhong. Now Mr. Zhong is no longer in charge, but I heard that Mr. Zhong is a filial son. If Mr. Zhong speaks up, Mr. Zhong will probably continue to cooperate with Xia Group. Please ask Dad to call Mr. Zhong. The expectant eyes of the crowd made the old man feel happy. So what if he's old? He's the only one who can save the Xia Group. Call Mr. Zhong for me. The old man said softly. Yes. Butler Lao Li took out his cell phone and dialed a number. Seeing this, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. As long as Xinghe Steel Structure is saved, the Xia family won't have to go bankrupt. I'm so scared. I just bought a villa and I don't want to go bankrupt so soon. Don't worry, Grandpa can handle it. Beep, beep, beep. The phone rang 3 times before being connected. Hello. Lao Zhong, it's me, Lao Xia. Mr. Zhong is also 70 years old this year. He cooperated with Xia Group 15 years ago. After Xia Meng passed away, Mr. Xia often visited Mr. Zhong and they had a good relationship. He should do himself a favor. The old man smiled and looked forward to Mr. Zhong's voice. At this time, a strange voice came, Mr. Xia, I'm Mr. Zhong. My father passed away a week ago. If you are here to ask about Xinghe Steel Structure, then don't ask. Xinghe Steel Structure will never cooperate with Xia Group. Mr. Xia even harmed his own grandson. I dare not cooperate with such an unkind and unjust person. Goodbye. Bang. The phone was hung up and the huge hall was so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. Chapter 15. Will it be summer? After the old man was stunned for a few seconds, he slowly closed his eyes and spoke. Someone come. Butler Lowley hurried forward and whispered in the old man's ear, Master, what do you want me to do? Go. Call the 4 Lee brothers. The Lee brothers are the 4 bodyguards of the old man. They are brothers and come from a traditional martial arts family. They are the descendants of Bajikan. The 4 brothers have their own special abilities. Each one of them is an expert among experts. These 4 people protected the old man from assassination attempts again and again, and they were known as the 4 Heavenly Kings. According to the rules, when the 4 great kings attack, someone will die. For a moment, everyone in the hall lowered their heads and said nothing. The old man was going to kill someone. Who is he going to kill? Who else can I kill? Of course it's Xia Qian. He should have died 10 years ago. He was allowed to live 10 more years. Not only is he ungrateful, but he even dared to come back for revenge. Kill him, that bitch. Xu Yuqing gritted her teeth, her face grim. She didn't know when the video was recorded, but it must have something to do with Xia Qian. He made her embarrassed in public. He deserves to die. The housekeeper, old Li, came and went in a hurry and came back in less than 5 minutes, but the 4 brothers of the Li family did not follow him. The old man frowned and questioned them. Where are the 4 Li brothers? Old Li's face was pale and his lips were trembling. Li, the 4 brothers of the Li family, something happened. What happened? The old man asked calmly. The 4 brothers of the Li family were invincible in the world. Usually, when something happened, they couldn't stop themselves and killed people, and then they went to deal with the bodies. Just an hour ago, a man rushed in and broke the spine of the eldest brother Li, chopped off the 2 legs and 2 arms of the second brother Li, and the third brother Li. Li was stabbed in the head and died on the spot. The 4th brother, he was stabbed in the stomach. He was not rescued in time and he died. Big brother Li and second brother Li also died due to excessive blood loss. The 4 brothers of the Li family are all dead. What? The old man ripped off the oxygen mask from his neck, stood up suddenly, glared with wide eyes, and shouted loudly. Impossible. The 4 brothers of the Li family are the descendants of Bajikan. In the entire Jiangnan area, no one can be their opponent. They can't be dead. The housekeeper, old Li, was trembling with fear and said tremblingly, they are really dead. I heard from the servants that the person who came was a young man. He chopped people without saying a word as soon as he entered the door. The 4 brothers of the Li family were eating, and before they could react, they were chopped to death. The body is still in the backyard. The bodyguards carried in the bodies of the 4 brothers. Their eyes were still open. Li Laosan was still holding chopsticks in his right hand and there were rice grains around his mouth. Obviously, he had died before he could react. Master. Anyone who can kill the 4 brothers of the Li family at once must be a supermaster. What? Who could have killed the 4 brothers of the Li family? The old man panicked and began to stutter. Everyone in the Xia family looked pale and terrified. The moment they saw the bodies of the 4 brothers of the Li family, their first reaction was not sadness, but would the master who killed the 4 brothers come to kill them? Grandpa. Have the 4 Li brothers ever offended anyone? Xia Hai stuttered. If the other party came for the Xia family, they should have killed more than just the 4 brothers. Since the other party only killed the 4 brothers, they must be the enemy of the 4 brothers and have nothing to do with us. As soon as these words were spoken, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. The 4 brothers of the Li family have been in society for many years. They must have offended someone. It has nothing to do with our Xia family. The old man, who was tense with anxiety the previous second, breathed a sigh of relief the next second. He said quietly, the 4 brothers of the Li family have been in the underworld for many years and have offended too many people. Maybe it's an enemy who came to visit. It should have nothing to do with the Xia family. Xu Yuqing, who had been silent all this time, expressed a bold idea. Could it be Xia Qian who killed the 4 brothers of the Li family? He came back today, and first the 3 women of the eldest brother came to cause trouble, and then kicked Xia Ning out of Dahao. There was also the video, Yu Xiaxia's testimony, and Xu Zhibin's falling out. It felt like it was all premeditated. These plots are Xia Qian's revenge on us. Xu Yuqing expressed the doubts in everyone's mind. Everything has been connected today. Even a fool can see that these things are related to Xia Qian. Even the security guards of the Dahao Hotel are helping Xia Qian. What on earth did Xie Qian do? Isn't he just a prisoner on labor reform? How could he have such great power? Xie Hai pondered. Snort. Xie Ning snorted coldly and said sarcastically, he is just a labor reformer. How can he have the ability to take revenge on the Xie family? In my opinion, Xu Zhibin's falling out should be related to his second uncle. Xu Zhibin's wife was married with the help of his second uncle, and Xie Qian is his second uncle's son. Xu Zhibin has always stood on Xie Qian's side. For this traitor. He used the Xie family's resources and only thought about that bastard Xie Qian. Yu Xiaxia and Xie Qian were classmates. Maybe they didn't have an affair back then. Plus, Yu Xiaxia was poor and destitute. She came out to testify. She said she wanted to uphold justice and tell the truth, but in my opinion, she just wanted money. Give her 1 million and she'll change her mind immediately. Xu Yuqing frowned and said, the big brother's 3 mistresses came to cause trouble, and what's the matter with my video? It's big brother's own problem if the mistress is causing trouble. Xie Ning and Xie Hai have been at odds since childhood. Both of them want to compete for the Xie group. On the surface, they call each other the big brother, but secretly they wish to kill each other. What kind of man are you if you can't even take care of a woman? You'd better quit your job and go home to take care of your children. As for you. Xie Ning glanced at Xu Yuqing and said sinisterly, such a private matter, who else would know except you? I suspect that you secretly recorded the video yourself, or Wang Qianfeng did it. You guys who are so obsessed with love, what can't you do? Impossible. Xu Yuqing screamed, I didn't record it. Xie Ning said, that was recorded by Wang Qianfeng. Xu Yuqing was choked and couldn't speak. In short, Xie Qian is a rehabilitated prisoner who just got out of prison. How can he take revenge on us? It's nothing more than that he got hold of some of second uncle's connections. Xie Ning rolled her eyes, now I am worrying about that bastard, what if I don't think about the company? All of a sudden, everyone realized that they had strayed from the topic. The most urgent thing was the company. Mr. Zhang is unwilling to cooperate, Xie Group and Jinghe Steel Structure have no chance at all. Xie Feng lowered his head and sighed, except for Jinghe Steel Structure, no other company can help the Xie family solve the problem. Xie Hai stood up excitedly and said, just 10 minutes ago, Qianhe Group released a message. Qianhe Group will invest 30 billion yuan in Jiangnan City and is currently preparing to attract investment. 30 billion yuan. Even if it is divided into 1/10, it is still a 3 billion yuan project. The income of this 3 billion yuan project is at least 30%, which is 900 million yuan. 900 million per year. As long as they get this project, the Xie family can turn things around. The old man also realized this problem and said immediately, everyone, starting tomorrow, put down all the projects you are working on and work with Qianhe Group. 30 billion, the Xie family must have a share. At this moment, Grandpa Xie's chest was filled with ambition, as if he had suddenly become 10 or 20 years younger. He was an old horse in the stable, with ambitions to run 1,000 miles, and a martyr in his old age, but still full of ambition. The Xie family will rise again. As for Summer, oh, a useless descendant of the Xie family can't cause any big waves. Just kill him. Chapter 16 Third Sister Chu Feiya. Washington Blue Bay was the largest wealthy area in Jiangnan region 10 years ago. However, due to a tragedy 10 years ago, a rich second generation killed his father and mother, the stock price of Washington Blue Bay plummeted. Now, 10 years have passed, the community is sparsely populated, and only one villa has the lights on. Boss Xie, Yu Xiaxia, and Xu Zhibin have all been settled, as well as Boss Zhong from Zheng Steel Structure and Sister Hong from Huayuzi. Everything is going as planned. In addition, the news about Qianhe investment has also been sent out. If nothing unexpected happens, tomorrow morning, all the companies in the entire Jiangnan area will come to Qianhe to seek cooperation, and the Xie family will be no exception. Other than that, I have also investigated the Chu family. They started out in the real estate business. In recent years, the real estate business has not been doing well. The Chu family has been trying to transform, but has never succeeded. In addition, the young man named Li Peng is Li Yong's son. Li Yong is a coal boss in Jiangnan and owns several coal mines. A year ago, Qianhe invested in Li Yong's company and held a 51% stake. In other words, Li Peng and his family worked for Qianhe. On the sofa, Xie Qian was reading a novel with relish. Xu Chengfeng reported what happened today and some things about the Chu family. Boss Xia, now the whole Jiangnan city knows that you are innocent of the false testimony given by old Master Xia. The next step is to force the old man to admit to the murder. Is everything going according to plan? Xia Qian nodded, just follow the plan. Also, please help me run the identity of Little Miracle Doctor. Yes. Xu Chengfeng looked at Xia Qian curiously. After Xia Qian returned, he cleared the charges and set a trap for the Xia family step by step. He also proposed to Chen her group to attract investment and cooperation. His purpose was to give the Xia family hope and then hit the Xia family hard. However, he didn't understand why Xia Qian wanted to operate the identity of the little genius doctor. This identity, what's the use of revenge? Sensing Xu Chengfeng's doubts, Xia Qian answered. Do you know what my grandpa likes most? Xu Chengfeng frowned and said, you like gambling. You like women. No. This is not what he loves most. Xia Qian put down the book in his hand and said quietly, what he loves most is power, the power to dominate others, but he is already 70 years old. Years of indulgence have caused serious problems for his body. When I saw him today, he was skinny and his blood was empty. There's something wrong with his body. It's only been a year. Xu Chengfeng immediately recalled a detail. When the spy was following the old man last month, he mentioned that the old man had invited some talented people from the underworld to help him with massage, health care, and health preservation. It turns out his body is no longer able to function. Suddenly, he understood what Xia Qian meant. Mr. Xia is brilliant. The young doctor's reputation has spread. In order to survive, the old man will definitely invite the young doctor, but he doesn't know that the young doctor is Mr. Xia. TSK, TSK, TSK. I'm really looking forward to his expression when he sees President Xia. He will regret it, right? Under the incandescent light, a gleam of light flashed from the eyes behind the gold-rimmed lenses. I want more than just his regret. I want him to cry bitterly, kneel before me, and kneel before my parents' graves to repent. Not only him, but also Xia Hai and his group. The more proud they are in these 10 years, the more regret they will have in the rest of their lives. A chill filled the entire villa. Xu Chengfeng was wearing a tweed coat, but he couldn't help shivering. A few seconds later, Xia Qian picked up the book on the coffee table again. The cold air dissipated and he became the elegant, gentle man again. Have you checked Xu Huahua's contract? I checked. Xu Chengfeng said quickly. She is a small internet celebrity with 200,000 fans. The quality of her videos is quite high, but because there is no professional team to operate, it is difficult for her to become popular. I have already told the legal department to go to Chu Huahua to discuss cooperation. If I'm not mistaken, Chu Huahua is Miss Chu Xia. Boss Xia, do you want to help Chu Xia? Xia Qian nodded and said calmly, whether she marries me or not, since she is Uncle Chu's daughter, I should help her. Sign her up and find a professional team to help her develop a plan and do it according to her expectations. In addition, give her a signing fee. Xu Chengfeng asked, how much is the signing fee? Xia Qian hesitated for a moment and said, give me 100 million first. You give me 30,000 yuan and I will give you 100 million. 100 million is just the beginning. He will let Chu Xia earn hundreds or even thousands of billions. As long as Chu Xia wants it, he can satisfy her. Xia Qian doesn't care whether to marry him or not. As long as Chu Xia is happy. He wants her to be happy. Today, Chu Xia wore a red dress and tied her hair up high. Although she put on makeup, she still couldn't hide the haggardness on her face. She almost didn't sleep all night. When she thought about being Li Peng's fiancé, she felt so uncomfortable that she wanted to cry. You have such a sad face. If Grandma sees you later, she will scold you again. Zhao Yulian glared at her and took out a box of powder and stuffed it into her hand. Go fix the dark circles under your eyes. You look so haggard, what if Li Peng doesn't like you? Chu Xia looked down at the powder puff in her hand, her nose felt sore and tears almost fell. She took the powder puff back to her room, lay on the bed and cried. After crying for just 2 minutes, there was a knock on the door. She quickly stopped crying. Who is it? It's me, third sister. A familiar voice came. Chu Xia hurriedly opened the door and saw her third sister at the door. She could no longer bear her grievance and threw herself into her third sister's arms and burst into tears. What's going on? Why are you crying so hard? Who bullied our Xia Xia? Tell the third sister that she will support you. Chu Xia choked up and said, it's Mom. Third sister. Well, I brought you some plum candy. Licorice, hawthorn, dandelion, and isatis root are added to this candy. It has the effect of clearing away heat and reducing internal heat and regulating the spleen and stomach. It tastes delicious. I made it myself. Would you like to try one? Looking at the plum candy, Chuchia's eyes were filled with resentment. I told you my mother was bullying me. How can you be so indifferent? The third sister looked embarrassed, but as an older sister, she should support her younger sister. Mom, that's too much. Wait a minute, I'll bring my mother to apologize to you. Wait for me. 10 seconds later, the third sister came back. As soon as she entered the door, she threw herself into Chuchia's arms and burst into tears. Mom is mean to me. Woo, Chuchia's mom is mean to me, she is so scary. Holding her crying little sister, Chuchia said in despair, I shouldn't have begged you. At the bus stop, Xia-Qian got off the bus and walked towards the Chu family. Sudden. A black Mercedes came straight towards him at over 100 km/h, obviously wanting to hit him to death. Chapter 17. Break his 3 legs. Xia-Qian dodged the car and the Mercedes-Benz braked suddenly to a stop. The car door opened. Li Peng got out of the car. Behind him, there were 2 strong men, both over 190 centimeters tall. Li Peng stood in the middle, and the 3 of them formed a concave shape. Are you here today to attend Xia and I's engagement party? Li Peng looked at Xia-Qian with eyes full of sarcasm. I saw Xia-Qian didn't he speak? Li Peng sneered, you don't know yet, do you? Aunt Zhao and I have already discussed it. Today, we will finalize my marriage with Chuxia. We will get engaged first and then get married after Chuxia graduates. I've heard about your identity, too. A rehabilitated prisoner who murdered his father and mother took the bus to attend the banquet. A piece of trash like you wants to snatch Xia from me? Only I am worthy of such an outstanding girl like Xia. I am Xia's true love. The first and second kings. The 2 sturdy men stepped forward and stared at Xia-Qian fiercely. Destroy him for me. All 3 legs are broken. The 2 men walked towards Xia-Qian step by step. Their burly bodies looked as if they could kill Xia-Qian with one punch. Li Peng threw the cigarette butt in his hand to the ground and crushed it out. Fight with me. Die. After glaring at Xia-Qian fiercely, he turned and walked into the Chu family. At the front door, Chuxia and Zhao Yulian were welcoming guests. When Zhao Yulian saw Li Peng, excitement blossomed on her face. Xia Peng, you're finally here. Xia has been talking about you all afternoon. Really? Li Peng looked at Chuxia excitedly. Chuxia's face darkened and she frowned. When did I say that? You muttered. I heard it. Zhao Yulian glared at Chuxia fiercely and warned her with her eyes, it's still early for the banquet. Take Xia Peng to the room and sit down. I'll go get grandma. Want to sit in the room? Chuxia's expression suddenly changed, while Li Peng was extremely excited. Xia, let's go to your room. No. Chuxia shook her head, I want to wait for someone here. Who are you waiting for? Li Peng's tone sank. Chuxia was a little impatient, my dad asked me to wait for a guest. Is the guest you're talking about called Xia-Qian? Li Peng put his hands in his pockets, his ugly face full of disdain, and said coldly, if you are waiting for Xia-Qian, then I tell you, he can't come. You don't have to wait. Why? Chuxia had a bad feeling, what did you do? Li Peng smiled, feeling confident and proud. I didn't do anything, just taught him a little lesson. From now on, here. Before he finished speaking, Chuxia shouted towards the door in surprise, Xia-Qian. Li Peng looked back in shock, his face full of disbelief. According to his plan, Xia-Qian's leg had been broken for 3 days, but the Xia-Qian in front of him did not have a single injury on his body. A pair of gold-rimmed glasses and a strand of curly bangs are casual and chic. Why are you here? Xia-Qian glanced at him with a cold expression, why can't I be here? You. Li Peng was stunned for a second and quickly ran out the door. Just see. The first and second kings lay straight on the road, their hands on their chests, their faces peaceful, like a pair of corpses. This? Li Peng checked their noses and found that the 2 men were not dead, but had fainted. Li Peng's face was gloomy. This little jerk is quite capable. He called someone to come and take the first and second kings away, and returned to the Chu family compound again. The Chu family is wealthy and powerful. The old lady has a total of 6 sons and 3 daughters. There are always 30 to 40 people at the family gathering every 3 months. There is still half an hour before the banquet starts. People stood in the courtyard in groups of 3 or 4, chatting. Under the Paulownia tree, Chuxia and Xia Tian were chatting. Both of them were tall, with regular features, a handsome man and a beautiful woman. Each of them had a cup of coffee in their hands. With the autumn scenery, it was like a beautiful oil painting. Chuxia was talking about something interesting, smiling all the time, and her 2 little dimples were so adorable. This smile. Li Peng had never seen it before. A fire of anger burned from the bottom of my heart. Li Peng rushed over quickly, snatched the coffee cup from Chuxia's hand, and said angrily, "Chuxia, from today on, you are my fiancé. I am a man who values tradition very much. Before you can chat with other men, you must get my consent. You must be a good woman who abides by the code of conduct for women, observes the 3 obediences, and regards your husband as your god." Chuxia was chatting happily, but Li Peng's words stunned her. At this moment, in addition to the 3 people in the courtyard, there were 7 or 8 elders present. When they heard Li Peng's words, they all looked at Chuxia in surprise. Questioned. When did Xia get a boyfriend? I've never heard of her having a boyfriend, but now she has a fiancé. Who is this handsome man? A love triangle. An elder educated Chuxia, Xia, you are a lady from the Chu family. You should not be too promiscuous in your relationship with men and women. As an elder, I must have a good talk with you. Damn. Chuxia was almost mad. She yelled at Li Peng with a red face. Li Peng, are you crazy? Who's going to marry you? I'd rather marry a jackass than you. Let's go in the summer. In order to deliberately anger Li Peng, Chuxia directly took Xia Tian's hand and strode into the villa. Stop. Chapter 18, which of your 5 daughters do you plan to marry? You. Li Peng wanted to chase him, but Xia Tian turned around and kicked him out. He wanted to get up and rush over. But Xia Tian glared at him and Li Peng dared not move. He glared at Xia Tian fiercely and yelled at Chuxia. Chuxia, I am your fiancé. You are my woman. Chuxia ignored him and pulled Xia Tian straight into the villa. Chuxia ran up to the 2nd floor in one breath before stopping. She was trembling and tears were welling up in her eyes. Summer frowned. What's going on with this Li Peng? 2 days ago, when Xia Tian came to the Chu family and saw Li Peng, he didn't take him seriously at all. Today, he hired thugs to cripple 3 of his legs and even claimed that she was Chuxia's fiancée. What is going on? He is the fiancé my mother chose for me. Chuxia briefly talked about the situation of the Chu family. When Li Peng was mentioned, this cheerful girl fell into worry. I really hate him. Listen to what he just said about putting the husband first. He was like this before I got married. If I really got married, what would he be like? Will I be abused? Yes. Xia Tian nodded decisively. This person has shifty eyes, a broken eyebrow on the left side, and an irritable temper. This kind of person is narrow-minded and has a strong desire for control. He will definitely commit domestic violence after marriage. Xia Tian frowned and looked at Chuxia and asked, What do you think? I want to kill him. Chuxia said. Xia Tian was stunned. Really? Of course it's fake. Chuxia chuckled. I'm just joking. Do you really believe it? I am just a weak woman. What can I do? If he can really help the Chu family transform successfully, Dad won't have to work so hard. Let's take it one step at a time. Dad is looking for you. He is waiting for you in the study. You go up. Xia Tian looked at Chuxia with affectionate eyes. The girl who was sad in the previous second turned into a smile in the next. What are you looking at me for? Can't you leave me so much? Xia Tian silently raised his 2 clasped hands and said, How can I get up if you don't let go? Ah. Chuxia's face suddenly turned red, and she quickly retracted her hand and explained, You, don't misunderstand me, I held your hand on purpose to piss off Li Peng. I don't like you. Well, you don't like me, you're just obsessed with me. Without waiting for Chuxia to refute, Xia Tian handed the brown paper bag in his hand to her. Authentic Blue Mountain coffee beans, try it. Chuxia was slightly stunned, then lowered his head and smelled the brown paper bag. Although it was sealed, the rich aroma of coffee beans overflowed from the bag, and even the paper bag had a strong aroma of coffee beans. Authentic. Wouldn't that be very expensive? It's expensive. Xia Tian smiled and said, But you deserve it. Swish. Chuxia's face turned red all the way to her neck. She blushed when she was teased, which made her feel embarrassed. She retorted stubbornly, "It's no use teasing me. I am only focusing on my career now and I don't plan on having a relationship." "When did I say I wanted to date you?" Xia Qian asked back. "Chuxia, oh." She choked and retorted, "I don't want to date you either. My dad is in that room, go there by yourself." Pointing to the study on the second floor, Chuxia went downstairs angrily. Looking at her back, Xia Qian smiled. He took out his cell phone and sent a message to Xu Chengfeng. "Li Peng will handle it." Xu Chengfeng immediately replied, "Received." The world allows flies to exist, but if flies keep buzzing in front of you, it will be annoying. Boom boom boom. After 3 knocks on the door, Chu Yanqian's tired voice came from inside. "Enter." Xia Qian pushed the door open and walked in. In the study, Chu Yanqian was looking at a report with a frown on his face. When he looked up, he was stunned. After a full 10 seconds, Chu Yanqian exclaimed, "Summer." He quickly stood up and walked towards Xia Qian. After looking at her carefully for a while, his eyes turned red with excitement. "It's really you. I haven't seen you for a few years. You've grown so tall and handsome. You look exactly like your father. When Lao Meng sees you, he will definitely be proud of you." Xia Qian hugged Chu Yanqian. 10 years ago, Xia Qian was deserted by his friends and relatives, but Chu Yanqian stood firmly by his side and helped him overcome one difficulty after another. In Xia Qian's heart, Chu Yanqian is his father. "Uncle Chu, long time no see. Back then, I have to thank Uncle Chu. If it weren't for Uncle Chu saving 20,000 yuan for me every month, I wouldn't be this tall." Xia was only 169 centimeters tall when he was imprisoned, but now he is 190 centimeters tall. In addition to genetics, thanks to the money Chu Yanqian saved, he did not lack nutrition even in prison. "It's only 20,000. Compared to what your father gave me, 20,000 is nothing." Chu Yanqian pointed at the entire house. "This house and the entire Chu family were given to me by your father." Xia Meng is a business genius with an extremely accurate vision for investment. If he had not died young, not only China, but the entire world would have become his industry. As a brother, Chu Yanqian made a lot of money following Xia Meng. At its peak, the Chu family's assets were worth 100 billion. "Summer, come sit down. Let's have a good chat." Chu Yanqian was very enthusiastic and pulled Xia Qian to sit down. After sitting down, he looked at Xia Qian carefully for a while and then smiled. "I have 5 daughters. Which one are you going to marry?" Chapter 19. I love the little doctor. There is only one marriage contract, but it does not specify who to marry. Chu Yanqian has 5 daughters. In other words, all 5 daughters can marry Xia Qian. But who will marry? It's a problem. This question. Xia Qian was a little embarrassed. Let them decide for themselves. As long as they are Uncle Chu's daughters, I like them all, but it also depends on whether they like me. Even if it is an arranged marriage, I cannot completely go against the woman's wishes. But I have a question. Chu Yanqian said generously, "You say." "Uncle Chu, have you ever considered breaking the contract?" Xia Qian did not tell Chu Yanqian about his identity. In front of Chu Yanqian, he was just a useless person who had just been released from prison, had no job, and no money. Was there really anyone willing to marry his daughter to a rehabilitated prisoner who had just been released from prison? After these words came out, Chu Yanqian's cheeks turned red, and he felt humiliated and said angrily, "What do you mean? Are you going to break the contract?" Xia Qian shook his head repeatedly. "After all, I have nothing, and I am not a good match for the Chu family. I am worried that Uncle Chu may not be willing." "Ha ha ha." Chu Yanqian laughed out loud. "You are Xia Meng's son. A dragon gives birth to a dragon and a phoenix gives birth to a phoenix. Xia Meng is a dragon, so his son will not be a worm. This marriage is too high for our family." Xia Qian smiled slightly. "Uncle Chu, aren't you afraid that I'm a bug?" "What happened to the bug?" Chu Yanqian slapped his palm on the table and shouted, "Even if it's a dog, if I have a mouthful of shit, you will have one too." Summer. This may not sound nice, but it is enough to prove Chu Yanqian's attitude. He came here today to confirm Chu Yanqian's attitude. If Chu Yanqian disagrees, he will not make things difficult for the Chu family. "Uncle Chu, thank you. Don't worry, I won't let you down." Chu Yanqian laughed out loud, and the two chatted for a while. At 6 o'clock in the evening, the door of the study was pushed open and a little head poked in. Chu Feiya said, Dad, Grandma is here, the banquet is about to begin, and Mom asked you to go down quickly. Okay, I'll be right there. Chu Yanqian walked downstairs quickly. Xia Qian and Chu Feiya looked at each other, both feeling a little awkward. Finally, it was Xia Qian who broke the silence. Hi, I'm Summer. You are Chu Feiya, right? Chu Feiya is totally different from Chu Xia. Chu Xia has almond eyes and a pointed chin, while Chu Feiya has a pair of phoenix eyes, an oval face, and willow-shaped eyebrows. She wears a light pink dress and has her long hair tied up and fixed with a red hairpin. It has an antique flavor. When Chu Feiya heard the word Xia Qian, the first thing that came to her mind was murderer. She was so frightened that she even looked at Xia Qian cautiously. Xia said you are innocent. Chu Feiya's timid look aroused Xia Qian's curiosity, and he smiled. Do you believe it? Oh. Chu Feiya wanted to say something but didn't dare. Xia Qian encouraged her, don't worry, just speak boldly, I'm not angry. Then I'll be frank. You look like you could kill someone. After saying this, she was shocked. She was afraid that Xia Qian would be angry, so she apologized repeatedly, I just said it casually, please don't be angry, and don't kill me. I heard that the third daughter of the Chu family has a weak temper. When I saw her today, it was indeed as the legend said. However, her words aroused Xia Qian's curiosity. How do you know I'm capable of murder? Chu Feiya carefully looked at Xia Qian for a while and said, you have regular facial features, thick eyebrows, a neat hairline, and a widow's peak. Judging from your face, you come from a wealthy family. Overall, there are no problems. But there is a fierceness in your eyes. Although you wear glasses to cover it up a little, the fierceness in your pupils proves that you must have killed someone. Seeing that Xia Qian didn't say anything, Chu Feiya shrank her neck and quickly apologized. I just said it casually. Don't kill me. Xia Qian looked Chu Feiya up and down and said in surprise, you have already broken through the realm of vision. Who is your master? Chinese medicine emphasizes looking, smelling, asking and palpating, and the first step is looking. A true master can not only tell a person's physical health but also good or bad fortune just by looking. Chu Feiya has already made a breakthrough in looking at the face and achieved some success. My master is Mr. Chen from Jifeng Hall. Chu Feiya looked at Xia Qian curiously, you also know how to read faces. I know a thing or two. Summer smile. I just met Mr. Chen in the hotel yesterday. I didn't expect that Chu Feiya was Mr. Chen's apprentice. What a coincidence. Ahem. Chu Feiya looked at him cautiously and asked weakly, then have you really killed anyone? Killed? More than one. After being summoned to the imperial court, Xia Qian was stationed at the border, and the number of enemies who died at his hands was at least thousands, if not tens of thousands. People who have killed too many people would have changes in their facial features. Just as Chu Feiya said, he wore glasses to cover up the murderous aura around him. She is very accurate. This Chu Feiya aroused Xia Qian's curiosity. He smiled. So what if I've killed someone, so what if I haven't killed someone? This doesn't seem to concern you, does it? What do you want to say? Chu Feiya blushed, lowered her head and said softly, it has nothing to do with me, but I want to tell you something. What's the matter? Xia Qian asked. That's it. Chu Feiya pondered for a moment and spoke carefully, I heard from Xia that you have an engagement with our Chu family. I want to say, I don't like you and I don't want to marry you. I hope you give up this idea. Can I? The eldest daughter of the Chu family actually had such a weak character, which really made Xia Qian laugh. He shook his head, what if I say no? What will you do? Chu Feiya's little mouth pursed and two little pearls fell out immediately, which scared Xia Qian, and he hurriedly said, Don't cry. A few minutes later, Xia Qian came to the banquet hall with a sullen face. Chu Feiya followed behind him, sobbing like a wronged young wife. Chu Xia became furious upon seeing this and rushed up to support his third sister. Why did you bully my third sister? She was crying. Xia Qian said speechlessly, I said I didn't bully her, do you believe it? Afterwards, Xia Qian briefly recounted what had happened. Chu Xia frowned and warned Xia Qian. My third sister has this kind of personality. You can scare me, but you can't scare her. I got it. Xia Qian was speechless. In addition, afraid that Xia Qian didn't understand Chu Feiya's meaning, Chu Xia helped her emphasize, my third sister has someone she likes, she won't marry you, so you should give up on this idea. Good. Xia Qian nodded and asked curiously, who does she like? Chu Xia tilted her head, looking smug. It's a doctor called a Little Miracle Doctor. He's amazing. Not only is his medical skills amazing, he also doesn't charge for his treatment. He's like a living Buddha. Little Miracle Doctor? Xia Qian asked faintly, could it be that little genius doctor who used the 13 ghost needles? Chapter 20. What can you give to the little doctor? Yes, it's him. Chu Xia talked freely. My third sister said that this young doctor is very powerful, young and handsome. He is simply a great master in the world. Even my third sister's master, Mr. Qian, was impressed by him. She educated him in the tone of a little adult. The little doctor is about the same age as you, but he has become a well-known doctor. You have to work hard. Now that you're out of prison, what are your plans? Are you ready to find a job? Chu Xia's tone really made Xia Qian laugh. He said with a smile. No need to look for one. Anyway, your Chu family is rich. If I become your son-in-law, I won't have to struggle. Chu Xia glared with her almond-shaped eyes, looking disappointed in him. No ambition. Snort. After saying that, she glanced at Xia Qian's handsome features again and asked softly. Are there abs? Xia Qian, $8. Words are not enough, show it to us. Chu Xia stared at Xia Qian's abdominal muscles like a hooligan. Chu Feiya beside her patted her on the forehead and said, are you crazy? The banquet has begun, come in quickly. Granny will scold you if you're late. Led by Chu Feiya, the three entered the banquet hall. Since it was a family dinner, Xia Qian was a stranger. As he entered, he immediately attracted everyone's attention. Especially the ladies' attention. Wow, where did this handsome guy come from? Long legs, broad shoulders, narrow hips, three-dimensional facial features, so handsome. The point is that the nose is big. A little kid asked his mother curiously, why does mom like the uncle with a big nose? Her mother stuffed a piece of cake into her mouth. Children don't understand, don't talk nonsense. In full view of everyone, Xia Qian walked towards a white-haired old lady at the main table. The old lady is Chu Yanqian's mother, the person with the highest status in the Chu family. The Chu family can be what it is today thanks to this old lady. The old lady is short and thin, but her eyes are sparkling. Grandmother. I'm Xia Qian. I haven't seen you for 10 years. You're still in good health. 10 years ago, Xia Qian followed Xia Meng and met the old lady several times. At that time, the old lady praised Xia Qian for his handsome appearance and extraordinary temperament and said that he would be a rare talent in the future. In a blink of an eye, it has been 10 years since we last met. You're coming out. The old lady looked surprised, as if she had long forgotten about Xia Qian. I remember you were sentenced to life imprisonment and you're out after only 10 years. I was only 16 years old at the time and my sentence was commuted to 10 years. I was just released yesterday. Xia Qian said calmly, back then, my father signed a marriage contract with the Chu family and I came back to complete the marriage contract. It was you, Grandma, who wrote the marriage contract yourself. The old lady looked embarrassed. Back then, Xia Meng made rapid progress, like a tiger descending from the mountain. He defeated all his business rivals and became the #1 in Jiangnan. In order to get married into the Xia family, the old lady wrote the marriage certificate herself. But who knew something like that would happen 10 years ago? The Xia family and the Chu family are no longer the same as they used to be. Xia Qian is a rehabilitated prisoner who has just been released from prison and has nothing. He is not worthy of the descendants of the Chu family. But if you refuse directly, you will be known as ungrateful. After hesitating for a few seconds, the old lady spoke. You are right. I wrote the engagement, but that is all in the past. The Chu family's children were still young back then, but now they have grown up. Although I am not young, I am an open-minded parent. For matters like marriage engagement, it's better for them to make the decision themselves. After all, a marriage is for a lifetime, and we can't let the words of the elders ruin the happiness of the younger generation. The Chu family's daughters are all studying outside. The eldest daughter has become a disciple of the Taoist priest at Mount Sanqing and will not be coming down the mountain in the short term. The second daughter has joined the army and will not be able to return in the short term. The third child is studying medicine at a traditional Chinese medicine clinic. His master said he needs at least 3 more years of study. The fourth child is focused on starting his own business and has no plans to get married. Chu Xia is the only daughter in the family and is still in school. And I heard Xia Xia has a boyfriend. The old lady's words were obviously intended to reject Xie Qian, but as soon as the last sentence came out, Chu Yanqian got angry first and shouted. When did Xie Xie have a boyfriend? Xie Xie is single. I think Xie Xie and Xie Qian are a good match. Even their names match. You farted. Zhao Yulian said fiercely with a fierce look on her face. Xie Xie and him are not worthy. Xie Xie does have a boyfriend, her boyfriend is Li Peng. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Li Peng slowly stood up. His face was bruised and swollen, but he looked extremely proud. He bowed to Chu Yanqian and the old lady, then said politely. Grandma, Uncle Chu. From the moment I first saw Xie Xie, I knew she was my soulmate. In this life, I will only love Xie Xie. Today, I want to get engaged to Xie Xie in the presence of my grandma and Uncle Chu. Don't worry, after we get engaged, I will pay for Xie Xie to finish college. If she wants to study abroad, I will go with her. I will fulfill all her wishes and make her the happiest girl in the world. Grandma, Uncle Chu, please allow me to become the son-in-law of the Chu family. Li Peng spoke very sincerely, and all the relatives of the Chu family were moved. Chu Yanqian frowned and looked at Chu Xie. Xie Xie, do you want to marry Li Peng? Of course she does. Before Chu Xie could speak, Zhao Yulian interrupted and said, Xie Xie really likes Li Peng, and Li Peng is also sincere to Xie Xie. Li Peng's father, Li Yong, is the coal tycoon of Jiangnan City. After Xie Xie and Li Peng get engaged, the Li family will cooperate with the Chu family and give the Chu family 3 coal mines. A coal mine can earn at least 200 million yuan a year, and this income is very stable, without having to advance any expenses. Where in the world can you find such a good business? Everyone was stunned when they heard this. 1 mine costs 200 million, and 3 mines cost 600 million. The annual net income is 600 million yuan. The key point is that the coal mine delivers goods as soon as the money is paid, and there is no default on the fees. The Chu family is in the construction business, and in recent years they have been owed a large amount of project funds. Some of the project funds have been withheld for 4 or 5 years, and the leaders have been replaced one after another. If you can't get the money you earn, it's the same as not earning it. 600 million is not a lot, but it is enough to help the Chu family transform. For a moment, everyone in the Chu family nodded. Yes, this young man really likes Xie Xie and can help the Chu family transform. This is the son-in-law that the Chu family needs. She is a little ugly, but men look at ability. Yes, I am optimistic about this young man, he is very sincere. Xie Qian is just pretty, what's the use of a pretty face? Even Chu Yanqian fell into deep thought. He had spent a lot of effort in recent years to transform the Chu family, but all failed. If he married Li Peng, he could indeed achieve a successful transformation. Li Peng, who had gained everyone's support, looked at Xie Qian triumphantly and questioned him arrogantly. You said you wanted to be the son-in-law of the Chu family. What can you bring to the Chu family? Chapter 21. A small gift. For a moment, everyone's eyes fell on Xie Qian. Before Xie Qian could speak, Zhao Yulian spoke first. Pooh. He is a labor reformer. After marriage, he still needs to rely on Xie Xie for support. Xie Xie, if she marries him, not only will she not be able to solve the company's problems, but she will also have to support him. She is simply a burden. Xie Xie will never marry him. Get him out. Bang. As soon as Zhao Yulian finished speaking, Chu Yanqian on the side got angry and pointed at Zhao Yulian's nose and cursed. Zhao Yulian, shut up. Xie Qian is Meng Jiyi's son. Without Meng Jiyi, the Chu family wouldn't be what it is today. You wouldn't have the luxurious life you have today. The big house you live in, the big Huanhuali bed you sleep on, the Hermes baby, the LV leather shoes, were all given by Meng Jiyi. Xie Qian is Meng Jiyi's only son. I don't allow you to insult Xie Qian. Besides, the case 10 years ago was clearly a slander. The scene of Mr. Xie's birthday yesterday has been proven to be a false testimony. Summer is innocent. Chu Yanqian usually has the image of a good guy and almost never gets angry. Zhao Yulian was a little scared when he got angry today, but for the sake of her daughter's marriage, she still refuted. Innocent doesn't change the fact that he's a labor reformed prisoner. Compared to Li Peng, he's just trash. Chu Yanqian's expression was uncertain. At this time, Li Peng spoke. Uncle Chu, whether he was wrongly accused or not, that was 10 years ago. Now, he has just been released from prison. He has no education, no skills, and no connections. The gap between him and me is like that between a firefly and the bright moon. I can give Xie happiness, but he can't. Could it be that Uncle Chu doesn't want his daughter to be happy? Chu Yanqian was stunned. What father doesn't want his daughter to be happy? But if Chu Yanqian nodded, how would he have the face to face Xie Qian? When I was struggling, Xie Qian spoke. Li Peng, you said you are willing to give the Chu family 3 coal mines after marriage. Are you sure you're not bragging? Li Peng smiled. My family has more than a dozen coal mines, and I am the only son of my father. My father has long said that if I can marry Xie, not to mention 3 coal mines, 5 coal mines can be given to the Chu family. Li Peng spoke with great ambition, but Xie Qian shook his head. Words are not enough. Who wouldn't be able to do that when the upper and lower lips touch each other? I was thinking, I can give the whole earth to Chu Xie. Li Peng smiled slightly and said proudly, you really won't cry until you see the coffin. I'll call my dad right now. As he spoke, Li Peng took out his cell phone and called Li Yong. Beep, beep, beep. After the phone rang 3 times, Li Yong's voice came from the other end of the line. Hey, baby boy, is everything all right? In order to prove himself, Li Peng directly turned on the loudspeaker. The word darling son is enough to prove the status of Li Peng in Li Yong's heart. Li Peng was very proud. Dad, I'm at the Chu family. I just made a promise to Uncle Chu and Grandma that as long as you marry Xie to me, our family is willing to give the Chu family 3 coal mines. No, 5. Our family has 18 coal mines and we will give 5 to the Chu family. From now on, our family and the Chu family will be one family. When they heard the words of 5 coal mines, greedy looks appeared on the faces of all the Chu family members, especially Zhao Yulian, who was extremely proud. Once the marriage with the Li family could be completed, their family would become the head of the Chu family. Whether going to my husband's family or my parents' home, I feel very proud. When everyone was feeling proud, Li Yong on the other end of the phone let out an ear-piercing scream. I'll give it to your mom. You bastard, you gave the Chu family 5 coal mines. Who do you think the Chu family is? Why did you ask us to give them 5 coal mines? You don't do anything all day long, you just make trouble for me. Get back here right now. Quiet. The entire Chu family was silent, and you could hear a pin drop. Li Peng's face had turned pale. He held the phone in his hand, his throat dry, and asked in a trembling voice. Dad, she is Chu Xie. Didn't you say that if I married her, you would give me 3 coal mines? How come? Before he could finish his words, Li Yong interrupted him. Fuck you. When did I ever say that? Get back here right now. You've been causing trouble outside all day. From today on, you're under house arrest. Don't go out for 3 months. If I don't see you home within the hour, I'll break one of your legs. Beep, beep, beep. Li Peng was still talking on the phone, but the call had been disconnected. The Chu family's hall was completely silent. Xie Qian took a sip of tea. Said to Li Peng lightly. Why don't you go home? Aren't you afraid your legs will be broken? Li Peng came to his senses and felt so embarrassed in front of the Chu family, so he took his anger out on Xie Qian. Son of a bitch. It must be you who caused the trouble, right? My dad obviously likes Xie very much. Xie Qian smiled slightly. It's me, so what? You. Li Peng was about to get angry, but then he thought, Xie Qian is a prisoner who just got out of prison. How can he influence Li Yong? But he was unwilling to give up just like that. He glared at Xie Qian and cursed angrily. What are you so proud of? As a prisoner in labor reform, what can you give Xie? Even without the 3 coal mines, I'm still better than you. Everyone in the Chu family nodded. Even if Xie doesn't marry Li Peng, she can't give Xie Qian. He is nothing but a pretty face. He can't give Xie anything. That's right. Li Peng is not suitable. You can find someone else, but you can't marry Xie Qian. Humph. Li Peng stared at Xie Qian fiercely. If I can't get you, you can't get me either. At this time, Xie Qian spoke again. I came here today and brought a gift for Xie. Gift? Everyone looked curious, and Chu Xie also raised her head. She remembered the bag of coffee and asked, Is the gift you mentioned coffee? That's one of the gifts. Xie Qian said, This morning, I recommended your video account to Guajiji Entertainment. You sing well and look pretty. After signing with Guajiji Entertainment, you will quickly become famous. Don't you want to be in the entertainment industry? I will help you realize your dream. As soon as Xia Qian finished speaking, there was a puff sound. Li Peng burst out laughing. Then, the entire Chu family laughed. Chapter 22 100 million. Ha ha ha, this idiot really made me laugh to death. Li Peng burst into laughter. After 10 years in prison, your brain must be rotten, right? Do you know what kind of backgrounds people who can enter Guajiji Entertainment have? It's harder for ordinary people to enter Guajiji Entertainment than to enter a provincial department. Every actor at Guajiji Entertainment needs to be trained from a young age and go through rounds of screening before they can be successfully signed. Do you know how many people submit videos to Guajiji Entertainment every day? 80,000 people. Moreover, each of these 80,000 people has talent. Some have learned dancing since elementary school, some have sung since childhood, or are professional actors studying film and television. You just randomly forwarded a video for Xia Xia, and it attracted Guajiji's attention. Why the hell didn't you tell me that you bought a lottery ticket in Xia Xia's name and that you were going to win 200 million? How ridiculous. Everyone in the Chu family shook their heads, expressing their disdain for Xia Qian's words. Just forwarding a video to an entertainment company can get you signed. Is there such a good thing in the world? Just as Li Peng said, in today's world, it is as difficult to break into the entertainment industry as it is for a small civil servant to become the leader of a provincial department. Not to mention, Chu Xia never shows her face in her videos. Why would such a large company sign a contract with a small anchor whose face can't even be seen? This Xia Qian is too naive. Does he really think that if he just reposts a video, Guajiji will come to sign a contract? Simple-minded, just a gigolo. It's speechless. It's a waste of time to listen to him. Everyone in the Chu family denied Xia Qian. Because Chu Xia likes singing, Chu Yanqian once helped Chu Xia find a way to join Guajiji Entertainment Company. If you want to join Guajiji, you need to go through 9 rounds of interviews. If you pass all 9 rounds of interviews, you will need to be sent to South Korea for 3 years of training. After 3 years, you will need to undergo 3 rounds of tests. Only after passing all the tests can you sign the contract. He wanted to sign a contract with Guajiji just by watching a video. Harder than winning the lottery. Thank you, Xia Qian. Chu Yanqian changed his way to help Xia Qian save face. You really want to help Xia Xia and consider it for her. As Xia Xia's father, I am very pleased. Whether it succeeds or not, our family appreciates your friendship. Appreciation is a fart. Zhao Yulian rolled her eyes. Before, I only knew that he was poor, but now I find that he is also stupid. Stupid to the extreme, Xia Xia will not marry such a man. Shut up. Chu Yanqian scolded his wife. You are not allowed to be disrespectful to Xia Qian. Zhao Yulian refused to give in. I can obey you on other matters, but I must fight to the end on Xia Xia's marriage. I'm her mother. You. Chu Yanqian was going crazy. While the couple was arguing, Chu Feiyao silently took out a bag of melon seeds and started cracking them, analyzing the situation for Chu Xia as she went along. Li Peng is a little ugly, but he really likes you. Xia Qian is really handsome, but he is a little naive. An ugly one, but not stupid. A handsome, but stupid one. Which one do you choose? Chu Xia glanced at her and said, it's fine if you don't help, but you're still adding fuel to the fire. Don't forget, Xia Qian's engagement with the Chu family doesn't specify me alone. You're also involved. I'll ask Dad to marry you to Xia Qian. Chu Feiyao, oh. I just said it casually. As the third sister, I support you in rejecting both of them. This summer was originally a good choice. He has thick eyebrows, a high nose bridge, rosy lips, and is good in that aspect. He has a mole between his eyebrows, which means he looks rich and noble. You won't be poor if you marry him. But he's a little silly. So forget it. Chu Xia was silent. To be honest, Chu Xia was very touched by Xia Qian's help in forwarding the video to Guajiji, but it was indeed a bit silly to see Xia Qian confidently vowing that Guajiji would sign a contract with Chu Xia. Chu Xia didn't believe in the good thing of golden water falling from the sky. She was just about to speak when the phone in her pocket vibrated. She took out her phone and took a look. The words Guajiji appeared on the screen. It was Guajiji's official number. Chu Xia shouted excitedly. Ah, it's Quack. In an instant, everyone in the Chu family shut their mouths and looked at Chu Xia. Hello, I'm Chu Xia. A calm male voice came from the other end of the phone. Hello, are you the internet celebrity blogger Chu Huahua? I am. Chu Xia said modestly, I'm not an internet celebrity. I only have 200,000 fans. Oh no, it's 198,000. The other party smiled and said, this morning, a gentleman forwarded your video to us. After watching your video, we are very satisfied. We want to sign a contract with you and make you a new generation of singing star. I wonder if you would like to. Hiss. Inside the Chu family hall, everyone gasped, and Chu Xia was so excited that his heart almost jumped out. Sign a contract, yes. What kind of contract is it? There are so many unfair contracts in the entertainment industry. Chu Xia is worried that she will be sold out, helping the company make money while working for nothing. The other party said, after the contract is signed, all of Ms. Chu's expenses during her work, including food, clothing, housing, transportation, and training, will be funded by the company, and the profits will be split 30% and 70%. Ms. Chu 7, Company 3. In addition, the company will give Ms. Chu a signing fee, which will be used for Ms. Chu's basic expenses before she becomes famous. 37 points. Even for big stars, few can split the profits with the company 3 hours 70 minutes. Most of them are 550, while some small stars are 1 hours 90 minutes and the company is 90. Chu Xia's breathing became disordered and the hand holding the phone began to sweat. Sign, how much is the signing fee? The other party said, 100 million. Chapter 23 Worse than a dog. Quiet. The entire Chu family was silent. Everyone was dumbfounded, staring at Chu Xia blankly. Even the old lady of the Chu family, who has seen the world, was stunned by the annual salary of 100 million. The rise of short videos has created many internet celebrities, and even some big internet celebrities can earn tens of millions in one show, but they are rare. Chu Xia, a small internet celebrity with 200,000 fans, actually offered a price of 100 million yuan. And 100 million is just the signing fee, not including the profit sharing. It's too exaggerated. Chu Xia was also dumbfounded. He held the phone for more than 10 seconds without saying anything. In the entire hall, the person on the other end of the phone was the only one making a sound. Miss Chu. Miss Chu, are you listening? Chu Xia came back to her senses and said quickly, yes, I'm here. The other party was polite and humble, are you satisfied with this condition? If there is no problem, please come to Chenhe Group to sign the contract tomorrow. Yes, yes. Chu Xia was still confused. Very good. The other party breathed a sigh of relief and said politely, I will be waiting for Miss Chu at Chenhe Group at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. See you tomorrow. Goodbye. After Chu Xia hung up the phone, she looked at Chu Yanqian, then at her third sister, and finally her gaze fell on Xia Qian. This kind of pie in the sky thing actually happened, and the person who made the pie fall was Xia Qian. You. Chu Xia asked in confusion, how can I thank you? Will you pledge your love to me or will you be my slave in the next life? Phew. Xia Qian couldn't help laughing and smiled. I just helped you a little, it's nothing to mention. At this time, everyone in the Chu family came back to their senses. Zhao Yulian jumped up excitedly and hugged Chu Xia tightly, speaking excitedly. Xia is so amazing. Mom is proud of you. Mom has long said that Xia is very talented in music and will succeed sooner or later. Mom loves you. Zhao Yulian placed a kiss on Chu Xia's forehead. Chu Yanqian was also very excited. He clapped his big hands on the table, muttering, okay, every time he clapped. As expected of my daughter, Chu Yanqian, she is so outstanding. In a person's life, success is only preceded by an opportunity. Xia Qian helped Xia, and this opportunity came. I'll make the decision today. Let Xia marry Xia Qian. No. When Chu Yanqian said this, Zhao Yulian screamed and retorted with a red face, Xia will not marry him. Xia has now signed a contract with Chenhe Group with an annual salary of 100 million. He is a labor reform prisoner who doesn't even have a job. How can he be qualified to marry my daughter? In my opinion, Xia Peng is the most suitable for Xia. Zhao Yulian looked at Li Peng, who was silent. Ever since he learned that Chu Xia was signed by Chenhe, Li Peng had a gloomy face and remained silent. What happened today was completely beyond his expectations. First, Li Yong refused and then the signing of the contract. After all, his annual salary is only 5 million. 5 million is not a small amount, but it is far less than 100 million. Now, after hearing what Zhao Yulian said, he regained his confidence. His mother-in-law likes him, so he still has hope. Aunt, I will never let Xia down. Also, I'll go back and discuss the coal mine matter with my dad. He has been feeling unwell lately and is in a bad mood today. As long as Xia marries me, I will give the Chu family at least 3 coal mines. Fearing that the Chu family would not believe him, Li Peng added, my family owns 18 coal mines. I am the only son of my father. It's just 3 coal mines. He will definitely agree. Li Peng spoke with such confidence that everyone in the Chu family fell into deep thought. Discussing. Li Peng is Li Yong's only son. If Chu Xia marries him, the Chu and Li families will be one family in the future. It's just 3 coal mines. Li Yong should agree. Marrying the Li family can bring more benefits to the Chu family. Seeing that everyone was on his side, Li Peng regained his confidence and looked at Xia Qian with great pride. Thank you. As Xia's fiancé, I want to express my gratitude to you on Xia's behalf. Thank you for helping Xia forward that video. As he said that, he took out 200 yuan from his pocket and threw it to Xia Qian. Here, this 200 yuan is my gratitude to you. Take it and eat. You are welcome. After glancing at the 200 yuan, Xia Qian put down the teacup in his hand and looked up at Li Peng. Asked, are you Li Yong's only son? That's right. Li Peng was extremely confident. Although my father is a wealthy man, he has only loved my mother and me in his entire life. I am the only heir of the Li family. 18 coal mines, all mines belong to me. As soon as Li Peng finished speaking, a younger member of the Chu family exclaimed. Li Yong held a press conference a minute ago. He announced the distribution of his property. For a moment, everyone took out their mobile phones to watch Li Yong's live broadcast. Li Yong was seen standing on a podium with 7 or 8 microphones placed in front of him. There were lawyers and staff from the notary office present. In the picture, Li Yong is slightly plump and wearing a well-tailored suit, giving him the temperament of a president. Hello everyone, I'm Li Yong. Head of the Li Group. I am holding a press conference today to announce the issue of inheritance distribution. As everyone knows, I am 59 years old and I am not far from retirement. Before I retire, I will distribute my assets. Looking at his father in the video, Li Peng was completely stunned and said in surprise, didn't my dad say there would be a meeting today? He quickly took out his cell phone and called Li Yong. In the video, Li Yong was interrupted by the sound of a cell phone ringing. He took out his phone, frowned, took a look at it, and then hung up. Beep, beep, beep. Li Peng heard the busy tone on his phone and looked at Li Yong on the screen, completely stunned. In the video, Li Yong read out the inheritance distribution. After I retire, 50% of my money will be used for charity to support children in poor mountainous areas. 20% of the money will be used to support stray dog bases and give stray dogs a home. Of the remaining 30% will be left to my 2 illegitimate children, Li Qiming and Li Fengying. Thank you, everyone. At this time, a reporter asked, your son Li Peng, won't you leave him any inheritance? In the picture, Li Yong snorted coldly and said angrily. That rebellious son. He just knows how to cause trouble for me all day long. I've done a good job raising him to this age. Let him walk his own path in the future. Jizhua asked again, he is your son, aren't you afraid that he will get angry and stop supporting you in your old age? Li Yong sneered. As a big CEO, do I still need my son to support me in my old age? What's more, I have more than one son. The entire Chu family fell into silence and everyone turned their eyes to Li Peng. As the person involved, Li Peng was already dumbfounded. Xia Qian smiled. Your father donated 20% of his inheritance to stray dogs and didn't leave you a penny. In his eyes, you are worse than a dog. Chapter 24, The Transformation of the Chu Family. Li Peng was extremely confused. He didn't know what had happened. Why would his father, who had always loved him, say such a thing? There must be some hidden story behind it. However, this press conference made him completely lose face in the Chu family. He was furious. He lost all his manners and politeness and roared with a ferocious look on his face. It's you who did this. It must be you. I kill you. He grabbed an unopened bottle of Maotai and threw it at Xia Qian. Bang. Xia Qian raised his leg and kicked Li Peng, who flew 3 or 4 meters away and hit another table. The food and wine on the table spilled all over the floor. Everyone in the Chu family stood up and dodged. The kick stunned Li Peng, but he wanted to get up and continue fighting. Chu Yanqian gave an order, come here, throw him out. A man who is worse than a dog wants to marry my daughter. Get him out. 2 bodyguards came up and dragged Li Peng out directly. Afterwards, the nannies quickly cleaned up the garbage and replaced the table with new dishes. However, the smell of the white wine spilled on the ground was difficult to remove, and the whole Chu family was filled with a strong smell of alcohol. The old lady, who hated the smell of alcohol, looked displeased. "Who brought this Li Peng? A man like this wants to marry our Chu family's daughter." Everyone's eyes fell on Zhao Yulian. Zhao Yulian's face turned red and she stammered as she explained. "I thought Li Yong only had one son, Li Peng. The Li group can help the Chu family transform, so I want to bring him and Xia together." The old lady rolled her eyes and said sarcastically, "You think everything is what you think. You do things based on your thoughts. Li Yong has 2 illegitimate children. You didn't even investigate this matter before arranging a date for Xia. As a mother, don't worry about Xia's marriage from now on." Zhao Yulian wanted to show off her power in front of the Chu family, but ended up slapping herself in the face. Her face turned red, and when she looked up, she saw Xia Qian drinking and eating with an elegant posture, enjoying himself very much. This made Zhao Yulian very angry, and she glared at him fiercely. He lowered his voice and said, "Even if Xia doesn't marry Li Peng, she won't marry you." Xia Qian put down the chopsticks in his hand, picked up the moutai and took a sip, then looked at Zhao Yulian and smiled. "Uncle Chu has 5 daughters. If Xia doesn't marry, the others will be fine. You." Zhao Yulian rolled her eyes in anger and wished she could overturn the table. But having just lost an adult at the Chu family, she didn't want to make a fuss at the moment. She just glared at Xia Qian fiercely and said nothing more. The Chu family dinner also entered its main topic. The old lady asked Chu Yanqian, "Boss, how are the preparations for the group's transformation going?" When it comes to transformation, Chu Yanqian looks worried. There are several directions for transformation at present. First, the entertainment industry. The rise of short videos is bringing huge benefits. Second, pre-prepared meals will become an important development direction in the next 5 years, if not 10 years. In addition, I also learned about some engineering projects which I am still following up on. Once the results are available, we will inform everyone as soon as possible. The current investment environment is not good, and most companies are playing it safe and seeking wins. Large-scale investment is likely to fail. The short video and pre-prepared food industries chosen by Chu Yanqian are currently the most popular, with small investments and high returns, and are a steady and solid approach. But Chu Yanqian's words caused everyone in the family to sneer. Pre-made dishes, short videos. How much money can you make from this? Can you make 100 million a year? In addition, short videos and pre-prepared meals have become popular, and the companies behind them have been operating for 2 or 3 years. The Chu family entered the market too late. If they want to get a piece of the pie now, I'm afraid they will only get a sip of the soup. Besides, the Chu family is in the construction business. Short videos and pre-prepared meals are completely out of the Chu family's business track. This is not a transformation, this is completely abandoning the original business and starting from scratch. The person who spoke was the second son of the Chu family, Chu Yanqian's younger brother, Chu Yanhai. Chu Yanhai works as the human resources manager in the company and has been eyeing the position of chairman for a long time. In the past, Chu Yanqian did a good job in business and no one had any objections. Now the Chu family is facing being eliminated by society, and several attempts at transformation have failed. Everyone saw this opportunity. Want to bring down Chu Yanqian? Naturally, Chu Yanqian could not hide everyone's thoughts. He looked at Chu Yanhai coldly. "Then tell me, how should the Chu family transform?" Chu Yanhai stood up with a confident look on his face and started talking. The Chu family comes from the construction industry, so naturally they continue to work in industries related to construction. First, the construction of roads and bridges, engineering tunnels, reconstruction of drainage ditches, and exterior wall insulation. As far as I know, the higher-ups want to rebuild the old city, renovate the walls of old houses, and repair water and electricity. Don't underestimate these projects, they are very profitable. Second, do high-end research. Reduce construction costs and create pollution-free materials. Once successful, the Chu family can also do decoration business. Nowadays, people are all about pollution-free. Once the scientific research is successful, the Chu family will be the leading decoration giant in the country. Everyone knows that the profit from decoration is more than that from building a house. Chu Yanhai's words were recognized by everyone in the Chu family. The direction of the Sea of Clouds is more reliable. Decoration and renovation of the old city are not big projects, but the Chu family can easily get started. What the hell are short videos and pre-made dishes? Chu Yanqian is no longer capable. He no longer has any ideas. Such a person is not fit to be a leader. He should step down. The voices of the crowd's discussions entered Chu Yanqian's ears, and he retorted with an extremely ugly expression. The Chu family can do the project in the old city, but they need to advance the funds themselves. The money from above has been in arrears, and it is possible that it will be in arrears for more than 10 years. Who will fill this hole? Secondly, high-end research is even less reliable. So many scientists have been working in the lab every day and still haven't figured out a project. How can we figure it out? What a fantasy! Chu Yanhai was not angry. He spread his hands and said, "It's better to be in arrears than to have no money, right? What other projects does the Chu family have that are making money now? What do you say?" Chu Yanqian was silent. So far, all of the Chu family's money-making projects have been shut down, with only a few small projects still running. If they are unable to transform, the Chu family will not be able to hold on within 3 years. Uncle Chu. Just as Chu Yanqian was thinking about a countermeasure, Xie Qian spoke. Qianhe Group announced yesterday that it would invest 30 billion yuan to build a new urban area. Why doesn't Uncle Chu cooperate with Qianhe Group? Chapter 25. Get out of the Chu family. As soon as Xie Qian said this, the Chu family restaurant fell silent, and then a burst of laughter broke out. Chu Yanhai looked at Xie Qian. His fat face was full of sneers. Is this the son-in-law of my eldest brother? The boy is handsome, but his brain is not very useful. Qianhe Group is now the largest company in Jiangnan City. The boss of Qianhe is also the richest man in Jiangnan. Its main trading targets are foreign countries. In the past few years since the company was established, Qianhe has never cooperated with any company in Jiangnan City. Moreover, Qianhe has never cooperated with the Chu family. In other words, there is no bridge between the Chu family and Qianhe. And no one knows what the reputation of Qianhe Group is. It's true that the project above will be delayed in payment, but it's just delayed. The money will be paid sooner or later. Will Qianhe Group pay it? After saying that, Chu Yanhai smiled disdainfully, sneering at Xie Qian for being clueless. Xie Qian asked back. Qianhe Group may not give it, or it may give it. But the projects from above will definitely not be given to us. Why not give it a try? Ha 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 ha. Chu Yanhai laughed out loud. He was even ridiculously unwilling to talk to Xie Qian. He patted Chu Yanqian on the shoulder with his big hand and said sarcastically, "Brother, you really found a good son-in-law. Since your son-in-law has spoken, you can give it a try. However, you'd better not use the name of the Chu family. Otherwise, if you are rejected, wouldn't it be a disgrace to the Chu family?" Chu Yanqian has devoted his entire life to the Chu Group. He built the Chu Group from a small engineering team into a multi-billion-dollar group and made the Chu family rich and powerful. But in the end, he can't even represent the Chu Group. But he was too embarrassed to get angry because the old lady was present. I can only swallow my anger. Just when I was feeling depressed, Xie Qian spoke up once. Uncle Chu can't represent the Chu Group, can you? It's all thanks to Uncle Chu that the Chu family is what it is today. As the second younger brother, you took advantage of Uncle Chu's efforts to raise yourself fat and white, but not only do you not show any gratitude to Uncle Chu, you also criticize him everywhere. What you up to? Insult to one's superiors. Xie Qian's questioning made Chu Yanhai's old face turn red. He pointed at Xie Qian's nose with red eyes and cursed angrily. Shut up. This is our Chu family's family affair and has nothing to do with an outsider like you. At today's gathering, I just want to ask my eldest brother a question. Can you be the chairman? If you can't do that, then stop occupying the toilet and let someone with both ability and integrity take over. Since Xie Meng's death, the Chu family has fallen into decline. Over the past 10 years, Chu Yanqian's family has been targeted by Chu Yanhai. In the past, they still cared about their face, but today, Chu Yanhai did not even bother to bend and directly forced Chu Yanqian to abdicate. Second brother, don't you think you've gone too far? Chu Yanqian suppressed his anger and asked, what achievements have you made in the Chu family over the years? Just because of you, you want to abdicate before me? Are you worthy? There was not a trace of anger on Chu Yanhai's fat face, but instead he had a silly smile. I don't deserve it, and you don't deserve it even more. You have let everyone down time and time again over the past 10 years. Ask everyone who still supports you. Support Big Brother and stand up. Chu Yanqian set his gaze on the people in the Chu family. They turned their heads away one by one and no one stood up. Chu Yanqian was startled and suddenly set his gaze on the old lady. The old lady closed her eyes gently, as if ignoring the dispute between the two brothers. But her attitude speaks for itself. Mom, you. Chu Yanqian didn't care about other people's betrayal, but the old lady's silence made him feel heartbroken. Boss. The old lady sighed, her face full of heartache and helplessness. Over the years, you have worked hard for the Chu family and have worked hard for most of your life. The Chu family has seen your contributions. But you really didn't do a good job in the transformation of the Chu family. We gave you chance after chance and you didn't take it. You've been tired over the years. Rest. No. Chu Yanqian stood up suddenly and shouted, I will never give up the Chu group. Give me another chance and I will succeed in transforming the Chushi group. Oh? How long is the chance you mentioned? Chu Yanhai stared at him with a smile. 3 years. 5 years. Or another 10 years. Chu Yanhai's words made Chu Yanqian lower his head. In the past few years, he had been struggling to find a suitable opportunity for transformation, but had failed. When it was late at night and everyone was asleep, he even doubted whether he had run out of ideas and should retire. Short videos and pre-prepared meals, he also knew that they were not suitable for the Chu family. But other than that, he really had no other choice. Could it be that I really lost? Chu Yanqian fell into self-doubt. Uncle Chu. Xia Qian pushed the phone to Chu Yanqian and pointed at the phone number on the screen. This is the call from China Group. Please try it. Chu Yanqian took a look at the number starting with 400. It was a corporate phone number. This kind of number is usually not reachable, or if it is connected, it is a robot. Chu Yanhai came over to take a look. Laugh out loud. Calling a company to discuss cooperation. You might as well contact the security guard at the gate of China Group. You'll have a better chance than this. Chu Yanqian turned around and glared at Chu Yanhai. Cursed. I am still the chairman of Chushi Group. It is not your turn to comment on what I do. Shut your dog mouth. Chu Yanqian picked up the phone and dialed the China Group's corporate phone number. Chapter 26. What if it rings? Beep, beep, beep. The phone rang for about a full minute, and a mechanical female voice came from the receiver. Sorry, the number you dialed is currently unanswered. Please call again later. Upon hearing this voice, Chu Yanhai burst into laughter, his voice sharp and piercing. Ha ha ha, my dear brother, you are becoming more and more interesting. Why don't you change your career and become a comedian? It's a 30 billion business and you're making phone calls to companies to discuss cooperation. It's hilarious. If you don't have the talent, don't take on this job. It's fine to do it secretly, but don't embarrass yourself by doing this in public. Everyone in the Chu family also shook their heads in disappointment. Brother is really getting old and confused. Even if you want to cooperate with China Group, you can contact Chu Chengfeng through your connections. What's the point of making a corporate phone call? Hey. Big Brother is no longer able to do it, please abdicate. The words of the Chu family made Chu Yanqian's family angry, especially Zhao Yulian, whose face turned red with anger and her eyes were blazing with fire when she looked at Xia Qian. Cursed angrily. It's all your fault. Your idea is terrible. If our family gets into trouble, you won't have an easy life either. Get out of here. Mom. Chu Xia spoke up. She looked at Zhao Yulian and frowned. Xia Qian also meant to help. Your words are too harsh. Chu Feiyou agreed, that's right, it's too ugly. Seeing that both daughters stood on Xia Qian's side, Zhao Yulian became even angrier. Cursed loudly. You two damn girls, your elbows are bent outward. Your father is going to be killed by this prisoner. Chushi Group is what your father worked hard for his entire life. Chushi Group is his life. If he is removed now, it is equivalent to taking his life. Not caring about your dad is fine, but you're also speaking for an outsider. Chu Xia frowned and said, we are just discussing the matter at hand. Xia Qian has no ill intentions. It's just that the call didn't go through. There's no need to speak so harshly. Third sister, am I right? Yes, Xia said. Before Chu Feiyou could finish her words, Zhao Yulian looked over at her with a knife-like look. She was so scared that her neck shrank and her eyes turned red instantly. While wiping away tears, she said, I don't know anything, don't ask me. Oh. You just cry all day long, what else do you know? Zhao Yulian was very disappointed with him. After saying this, Chu Feiyao cried even harder. Tears as big as bins fell down her face. If you didn't know better, you would think she had suffered a great injustice. When she was crying fiercely, a chocolate appeared in front of her. She looked up and Xia Qian smiled at her. This chocolate uses Madagascar herbs, fermented white truffles, saffron and other ingredients. It tastes sweet and smooth, and it makes you feel better after eating it. Try it. Chu Feiyao picked up the chocolate with a confused look on her face and put it into her mouth. The moment she entered, her pupils widened. Wow, it's delicious. This is the best chocolate I have ever eaten. Thank you, Summer. After eating the delicious chocolate, Chu Feiyao stopped crying. She showed a sweet smile with 2 little dimples on the corners of her mouth, which was very lovely. You're welcome. There is a smile on Xia Qian's face, he is gentle and elegant. He turned to look at Zhao Yulian with a calm tone. It was just a one-time call that didn't go through. Maybe the operator went to the bathroom. The other party will call back in a few minutes. The call didn't go through. Aunt Zhao told me to get out. What will Aunt Zhao do if the other party calls back? Get out. Bang. Zhao Yulian slapped the table, stood up angrily, pointed at Xia Qian's nose and cursed harshly. You are a labor reformer and you still dare to act wildly in the Chu family. You still want me to get out? I think you won't cry until you see the coffin. Let's make things clear today. If Qianhe Group doesn't call back within 5 minutes, your engagement with the Chu family will be completely terminated. From now on, you are not allowed to show up at the Chu family. Xia Qian nodded. Ken. What if the phone rings? Zhao Yulian sneered and didn't think the phone would ring at all. If it rings, I'll bow and apologize to you. You can choose any of the 5 daughters. Ken. Xia Qian nodded. Looking at the agreement between the two, Chu Yanhai chuckled secretly and acted sarcastic. What a dog-eat-dog situation. That's really interesting. Brother, let us make an agreement. If the phone rings, you will continue to be the chairman of the Chushi Group. If it doesn't sound, haha, then you should just give up your position and let others do the work. Facing Chu Yanhai and the old lady's pressure, Chu Yanqian remained calm, picked up a piece of braised pork elbow and put it into his mouth, chewing as he spoke. What's the hurry? This phone will definitely ring. After saying that, Chu Yanqian looked at Xia Qian deeply. With just one glance, the two of them had a tacit understanding. Uncle Chu, come and have a drink. Xia Qian poured a glass of wine for Chu Yanqian. Chu Yanqian was not polite and picked up the glass and drank it all. He felt extremely happy. He put down the glass and poured another glass for Xia Qian. Come and drink together. Uncle Chu, stop drinking and eat some food. Okay, you eat too. The two of them were fighting back and forth, leaving everyone dumbfounded. Chu Yanhai rolled his eyes and spread his hands, saying, Big brother is crazy. He is drinking with this prisoner. The Chu group will collapse sooner or later in Big brother's hands. Shut up. Chu Yanqian turned around and cursed, you talk too much, it affects my drinking. Chu Yanhai's face turned cold, and just as he was about to speak, the phone on the table rang. When the phone rang, everyone became nervous. Only 30 seconds had passed in 5 minutes. The phone rang. Everyone looked over and saw that it was an unfamiliar number, not the Qianhe Group's corporate phone number. He. Chu Yanhai sneered. Zhao Yulian glared at Xia Qian with a look of disappointment. Uncle Chu, answer the phone. Xia Qian reminded, what if it is Qianhe Group? TSK. You won't cry until you see the coffin. Chu Yanhai said sarcastically. Chu Yanqian ignored everyone, picked up his phone and said something casually. Hello, who is this? Hello, Mr. Chu. A steady voice came from the other end of the phone. I am Xu Chengfeng. Chapter 27 Chu Yanqian being bullied. Master Xu. Chu Yanqian stood up excitedly. After many years in business, this was the first time he was so excited that his voice was trembling with nervousness. Hello, Mr. Xu, I'm Chu Yanqian. When they heard the 3 words Xu Chengfeng, everyone in the Chu family held their breath. Executive Chairman of Qianhe Group, Xu Chengfeng. He claimed to be the deputy of the boss of Qianhe Group, but for several years since the establishment of Qianhe Group, it has always been Xu Chengfeng who appeared in public and made some decisions. Privately, many people said that Xu Chengfeng was the real boss of Qianhe Group. Xu Yanqian was extremely excited. He had never thought that one day he would receive a call from Xu Chengfeng. After all, the gap between Chuxi Group and Qianhe Group is too big. At its peak, it might have been able to drink at the same table with the Qianhe Group, but today the Chuxi Group is not even worthy of carrying shoes for the Qianhe Group. Hello, Mr. Chu. Long time no see. 10 years ago, we drank a glass of wine together and agreed to drink heavily next time. I didn't expect that 10 years would pass in a flash. Xu Chengfeng's voice was filled with emotion, and these words made Xu Yanqian's nose sore. 10 years ago, Xu Chengfeng was Xu Meng's deputy, and Xu Yanqian was Xu Meng's good brother. The two often met at the wine table. They were not friends, but they were familiar with each other. After Xu Meng passed away, Xu Chengfeng left the Xia family. No news from him since then. A few years ago, Qianhe Group was established, and Xu Chengfeng transformed himself into the executive director of Qianhe Group. Xu Yanqian had thought about looking for Xu Chengfeng. He used his connections to send messages to Xu Chengfeng twice, but Xu Chengfeng did not respond. Once, at a dinner party, Xu Yanqian and Xu Chengfeng met. Xu Yanqian took the initiative to step forward and say hello, but Xu Chengfeng didn't even look at him and turned away. Since then, Xu Yanqian completely gave up trying to get close to Xu Chengfeng. Although the Chu family was poor, he was unwilling to put his warm face in someone else's cold butt. Now, Xu Chengfeng's words evoked Xu Yanqian's memories and his friendship with Xu Meng. Mr. Xu, long time no see. I still remember that dinner. If you have time, please call me anytime. Xu Chengfeng on the other end of the phone smiled and said, the staff just provided a phone number. When I saw that the number was yours, I immediately called you back. You called me to invite me for a drink. Or do you want to discuss cooperation? At this time, everyone in the Chu family finally couldn't hold it in anymore and winked at Xu Yanqian frantically. Let's talk about cooperation. Let's talk about cooperation. 30 billion. Any amount is worth it. This is a huge opportunity. Xu Yanqian will not give up this opportunity, he said loudly. I want to drink wine, and I also want to discuss cooperation. I wonder if Mr. Xu will give me a chance. Xu Chengfeng smiled and said, Mr. Chu, you are too polite. Qianhe Group is very willing to cooperate with Mr. Chu. Chuxi Group is a leader in the construction industry. Among the projects invested by Qianhe this time, there are two projects that are very suitable for the Chu family. First, greening. Second, roads and bridges. Qianhe Group plans to build a highway and a tunnel. The single tunnel will be 50 kilometers long, the double tunnel will be 100 kilometers long, and the width will be 5 meters. The total length of the highway will be 202 kilometers, and the estimated investment is 6 billion yuan. That includes the surrounding greenery and all the greenery within the community. The two projects together are worth about 10 billion yuan. It accounts for 1/3 of Qianhe Group's investment this time, which is very suitable for Chuxi Group. Qianhe Group will pay 30% in advance in the early stage, 20% after construction starts, 20% when the project is halfway completed, and the final 30% when it is delivered. Everything follows the procedure. I wonder if Mr. Xu is willing to take over. For a project with a value of 10 billion yuan, even if it only makes 10%, it will still be 1 billion yuan. In today's social environment, what project can make 1 billion yuan? Xu Yanqian was so excited that he forgot his identity for a moment and spoke. Yes, of course I am. Who the hell wouldn't want to? Anyone who doesn't agree is an idiot, right? Dad. Xu Xia reminded from the side, pay attention to your manners. Xu Yanqian quickly chuckled, Mr. Xu understands my personality. The Chu family is very willing to cooperate with Qianhe Group. Old Chu is still the same as before. Xu Chengfeng laughed gently, I've been busy recently, so let's put off the drinking. I'll give Mr. Chu a call. It's Xiao Wang, the manager of the Qianhe marketing department. Just contact Xiao Wang. I'll ask Xiao Wang to prepare the contract. Come to the company to sign the contract at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Okay. Xu Yanqian said repeatedly, I will definitely be at your company at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Afterwards, the two exchanged a few pleasantries, greeted their respective families, and then hung up the phone. In the hall, everyone in the Chu family widened their eyes and looked at Xu Yanqian eagerly. Xu Yanhai moved his lips. Is Qianhe Group willing to cooperate with the Chu family? Chu Yanqian's face was flushed, as if he had great ambitions in his heart, and he was extremely excited. Qianhe Group is willing to give 1/3 of the projects to the Chu family. After 3 seconds of silence, everyone in the Chu family cheered excitedly. The Chu family is saved. The Chu family is rich now. I can buy a new car. Hey, you get a new car and I get a new wife. My wife is fat and ugly after giving birth to the second child. I have lost all my sexual interest. Let's get a new one. Chu Yanqian looked at Xia Qian deeply and said excitedly. Thank you, Xia Qian. You are really the lucky star of our Chu family. Zhao Yulian rolled her eyes and said sarcastically, the Qianhe Group is cooperating with the Chu family because of Mr. Shu's previous friendship. What does it have to do with him being a labor reformer? Chu Yanqian frowned and retorted, if Xia Qian hadn't asked me to make this call, President Shu wouldn't have thought of me, let alone cooperate with the Chu family. You are a person who doesn't know how to be grateful at all. What did you just say? If Qianhe Group calls back, will you bow and apologize to Xia Qian? Apologize? Zhao Yulian glared at Chu Yanqian and said angrily, why are you like your 2 daughters? Are you so ungrateful? He's a labor and reform prisoner. I won't apologize to him. Unlucky. Bang. Chu Yanqian slapped the table and said angrily, Zhao Yulian, I have tolerated you for a long time. I don't care how arrogant and overbearing you are at home, but today you must apologize to Xia Qian. Otherwise I. Zhao Yulian crossed her arms, looking arrogant, what else? Do you dare to hit me? Bang. As soon as Zhao Yulian finished speaking, Chu Yanqian slapped her. He pointed at Zhao Yulian's face and cursed. This slap is to punish you for your disrespect to Xia Qian. Chapter 28 Apology. Zhao Yulian was stunned and screamed while covering her face. Chu Yanqian, you are crazy. I have been with you all my life. You said you wanted a son, and I tried my best to give birth to a child. I didn't give you a son, but I gave you 5 daughters. For you, I even had my uterus removed. You're going to fight me for a labor correction? I'll fight you. Bang. Chu Yanqian slapped Zhao Yulian again, causing her to stagger and fall to the ground. This slap also woke her up. She covered her face and looked at Chu Yanqian eagerly. Chu Yanqian has a gentle personality and has never resorted to violence in his 30 years of marriage. Today, he slapped her twice. Is he crazy? Chu Yanqian's eyes were red and his face was full of anger. He pointed at Zhao Yulian and gritted his teeth. We have been married for 30 years. I respect you, love you, take care of you, protect you, do my best to fulfill my responsibilities as a husband and buy you everything you like. That's right. You gave me 5 daughters. I felt guilty about that, so for the past 30 years, I gave you all the money I earned. I never asked you how you wanted to spend it, and I never got angry with you. But I tell you, everyone has a reverse scale. Xia Meng and Xia Qian are my Achilles heel. Without Xia Meng, there would be no Chu family today. Everything you have was given by Brother Meng. Xia Qian is Brother Meng's only son. You keep calling him a labor. Change your ways. Who the hell are you? I'll give you 2 choices. First, apologize to Xia Qian and continue to be Mrs. Chu. Second, divorce. Get out of the Chu family. When Chu Yanqian said this, everyone was stunned. The sisters Chu Xia and Chu Feiyao also stood up and went over to persuade them, but before they could open their mouths, they were interrupted by Chu Yanqian. Shut up. As a father, I will educate you today. In this life, there are things you should do and things you shouldn't do. You should never forget your duty at any time. Never become an ungrateful person for the sake of money. Do you remember it? Chu Xia and Chu Feiyao nodded, remember. Chu Xia silently glanced at Zhao Yulian and sighed, Mom, please apologize. You've gone too far. That's right, it's too much. Chu Feiyao said something with her eyes wide open, then quickly hid behind Chu Yanqian. Apologize, divorce, your choice. After Chu Yanqian said this, he turned to look at Xia Qian, picked up the wine glass in front of him, and there was embarrassment in his gentle smile. Xia Qian, I toast to you. Uncle Chu, I'm sorry. Xia Qian didn't say anything because he knew Zhao Yulian would go back on her word. He was watching Chu Yanqian's attitude. He could help the Chu family, but helping a little and helping completely were 2 different concepts. He can help the Chu family transform successfully and make a living in the Jiangnan area. Similarly, he can also help Chu Yanqian soar to the sky and become the richest man in the world. It all depends on Chu Yanqian's attitude. Now it seems that his father was right about Chu Yanqian. He is a person worth making friends with. Uncle Chu. Xia Qian raised the glass of wine, looked at Chu Yanqian and said loudly, 10 years ago, you were my father's brother. 10 years later, you are my elder and even more my brother. When mountains and rivers meet, there is hope for the future. He drank the wine in the glass in one gulp. Chu Yanqian was very excited. What a great opportunity to meet you. We can all look forward to the future. You are indeed the son of brother Men. When the great rock soars with the wind, it soars up to 90,000 miles. I look forward to the day when you soar into the sky. After drinking a glass of wine, Chu Yanqian turned his head to look at Zhao Yulian, his voice extremely cold. Have you thought about it? Zhao Yulian shuddered and looked at Chu Xia and Chu Feiya. Both of them lowered their heads and had no intention of helping to plead for her. She gritted her teeth and got up. I apologize. She came in front of Xia Qian and bowed. I'm sorry, Xia Qian. Chu Yanqian scolded, louder, haven't you eaten enough? Zhao Yulian gritted her teeth and shouted. I'm sorry, Summer. I was wrong, please forgive me. After saying that, he bowed again. Chu Yanqian looked at Xia Qian, seeking his opinion. Xia Qian, if you forgive her, I will continue to live with her. If you don't forgive her, I will divorce her. Chu Xia on the side couldn't stand it anymore. Dad, what are you doing? How can you ask others about this? How do you answer Xia Qian? Xia Qian put down the wine glass in his hand and said in a friendly manner, as the saying goes, it is better to demolish a temple than to destroy a marriage. Uncle Chu and Aunt Zhao have been childhood sweethearts and have been in love with each other for decades. How can their relationship end just because of me? I forgive Aunt Zhao. Chu Yanqian smiled at Xia Qian, then frowned and scolded Zhao Yulian. Why don't you thank Xia Qian? Zhao Yulian said thank you to Xia Qian resentfully and the matter was over. Bang bang bang. Chu Yanhai clapped his hands and said sarcastically, Big brother is so impressive. My second brother admires me. Chu Yanqian glanced back at him and said coldly. Do you still remember your promise? I remember, I remember. Chu Yanhai nodded repeatedly, his fat face full of smiles. The chairmanship of the Chuxi group will always belong to the eldest brother, we will never snatch it away. Chu Yanqian just breathed a sigh of relief. Chu Yanhai said again. But Big brother has been busy all his life, it's time to take a break. Let me negotiate the contract with Qianhe Group tomorrow. Big brother, take a good rest. Don't worry, Big brother will always be the chairman of Chuxi Group. I will inform Big brother of the result of the contract as soon as possible. Brother, just stay in the company and wait for the results. Chu Yanqian frowned and questioned in a cold voice. What do you mean by that? You go to discuss cooperation. Will you take this project? Chu Yanhai smiled and said, it wasn't me who took it, nor was it my eldest brother who took it. It was Chuxi Group that took it. The company has many other projects that require my eldest brother to take charge of. I will take over this project. The other projects of Chuxi Group only generate tens of millions of yuan in revenue each year, while the cooperation with Qianhe Group will generate at least 1 billion yuan in revenue. Why would Chu Yanhai, a mere marketing manager, take this job? Chu Yanqian sneered. Said sarcastically. Just answer it if you say so. Who gave you the right? Chu Yanhai grinned and said, my mother gave it to me. Chapter 29, Abandoned. Chu Yanqian suddenly looked at the old lady of the Chu family. Sitting on the armchair, the skinny old lady took a sip of tea slowly and then slowly spoke. Boss, you've worked hard over the years. Mum promises you that the position of chairman will always be yours. As for some new projects, let the second brother follow up. On the one hand, it helps you share some of the work. On the other hand, the second brother has been with us for so many years and can handle things on his own. Let him take Ximing with him. Ximing is still young, he needs to learn and see more. When Ximing can take charge on his own, you can retire. The old lady set her eyes on a young man, her eyes full of pity. Ximing, you have to work hard. You are the eldest grandson of the Chu family. The future of the Chu family is entrusted to you. Chu Ximing stood up excitedly with a flattering look on his face. Grandma, don't worry. I will never let you down. I will develop the Chuxi Group well and make it flourish. Chu Yunhai patted Chu Ziming on the shoulder, his face full of pride. Son, come with me to sign the contract tomorrow and show your face in front of Qianhe Group. Go out more in the future. You are so smart, you will learn it quickly. Let's leave at 8 a.m. tomorrow. Don't sleep in. Chu Ziming nodded and said, Don't worry, Dad. I'll get up at 7 o'clock. We'll arrive at Qianhe Group half an hour early. Let Qianhe Group see our sincerity. Chu Yunhai's face showed the pride of an old father. Ziming has grown up and doesn't sleep in anymore. Several people were talking to each other, completely ignoring Chu Yanqian. His face turned red, he felt extremely humiliated, and he questioned with anger. Mom, what do you mean? Fei Yin will inherit the Chuxi Group in the future. She is a business genius. Her company now has assets of over 100 million. Give her 10 years. No. In 5 years, her company will catch up with the Chuxi Group. She is the perfect heir to the Chuxi Group. Chu Feiyan is the fourth child and a twin with Chu Feiya. She is a business genius who has shown amazing talent since she was 16 years old. She started her own company at the age of 18 and is now in her early 20s and is the president of a company worth hundreds of millions. She is the perfect heiress. In her hands, Chuxi Group will achieve greater success. As for Chu Ziming, he graduated with an ordinary bachelor's degree and stayed to work at Chuxi Group after graduation. His work was mediocre and his appearance was mediocre and his department's performance was always at the bottom every year. If he wasn't a child of the Chu family, he would have been expelled long ago. Such a mediocre person will inherit the Chu-style group. Brother, what do you mean by this? Are you disgusted that my son is not as good as your daughter? Chu Yunhai was unhappy. Chu Yanqian snorted coldly. Ziming and Fei Yin are simply incomparable. TSK. Chu Yunhai said sarcastically, Brother, I think you are used to being a leader and have forgotten that the Chu group belongs to the entire Chu family, not just you. I admit that Fei Yin is great, but Ziming is not bad either. Ziming is still young. As long as he is given some time, he will grow up. The most important thing. Ziming is a man, his surname is Chu, and his future son will also have the surname Chu. Fei Yin is powerful, but she is a woman after all. Women will get married sooner or later. After she gets married, the Chu group will no longer belong to the Chu family. Letting her take over the Chu group is equivalent to handing the group over to someone else. Brother, don't you understand this? Chu Yinqian's face turned red. He had always wanted a son in his life, but the 5 children he had in a row were all daughters. Although each of his 5 daughters was extremely intelligent, they were not as good as sons. He thought that if Chu Feiyan worked hard enough, he would be recognized by the Chu family. I never expected it. Even though she was a genius, she was not taken seriously by the Chu family. What a bullshit. Second uncle just wants to monopolize Chuxi Group. Chuxi Group is the world that Dad built with his own hands, and second uncle just wants to reap the fruits of his labor. Fourth sister is a business genius. Compared to her, Chu Ziming is just a fool. You let a fool run the company. Sooner or later, the Chuxi Group will go bankrupt. Chu Xia opened his mouth and said angrily. She was fed up with the feeling of not being able to hold her head up in the Chu family because she was not a boy. What right do you have to speak when the elders are discussing something? Chu Yunhai glanced at Chu Xia. Pointing at Xia Qian, who was standing beside him, he said, Look, my son-in-law is here. No matter how outstanding your 5 sisters are, you will have to get married in the future. The Chuxi Group must not be handed over to outsiders. Chu Yunhai's words attracted the attention of everyone in the Chu family. They nodded, stood on Chu Yunhai's side, and talked. Once a woman gets married, she belongs to another family. Although their surname is Chu, they are not members of the Chu family after all. It is right for Ziming to inherit the Chu group. That's right. Girls have to give birth to children and serve their parents-in-law after they get married. How can they do business? The voices of people's discussions penetrated into Chu Yinqian's ears, and his eyes were full of despair. Just because he had no son, he had worked hard all his life but could not get a single word of praise from his family. His daughter worked very hard but still could not get recognition. This is fate. He wanted to accept his fate. At this time, Xia Qian spoke. Before getting married, we can do a property equity. I don't want a penny from the Chu family, and I want to stay in the Chu group to work. You can rest assured. He. Chu Yunhai sneered and said sarcastically, You say it well, but it won't be the case once you get married. Property equity can be revoked at any time. Women are all soft-hearted. After marriage, you can deceive them with just a few sweet words. Xia Qian looked at Chu Yanhai and asked, "Today's family gathering and dinner are fake. The real purpose is to sideline Uncle Chu. Let's take all the resources obtained by Uncle Chu into our own hands." Chu Yanhai was a little angry and embarrassed after being exposed by Xia Qian. Said fiercely, "This is the Chu family's business, it's not your turn to fight. Chu Yanqian has been the chairman for so long, it's time for him to give up his position." "Oh." Xia Qian sneered and said sarcastically. When they were conquering the world, she was the eldest brother and the genius niece. After conquering the world, she became a woman who was easily manipulated by Chu Yanqian and a Gen Z. What an ungrateful person. A disloyal and unrighteous person like you will never succeed. After saying that, Xia Qian turned his gaze to Chu Yanqian and said to him, "Uncle Chu can just hand over the Chu group to them. Within 3 months, Chu Yanhai, the old lady of the Chu family, and everyone in the Chu family will kneel down and beg you to go back." Chapter 30 Resignation. After Xia Qian finished speaking, the hall was silent for 3 seconds. After 3 seconds, a burst of laughter broke out. "Ha ha ha ha, this prisoner is making me laugh to death." And even got down on his knees to beg him, "It's fucking hilarious. What you're saying is the Chuxi Group can't function without Chu Yanqian. Chuxi Group has so many projects, how many times has Chu Yanqian been to the construction site? He just talks, but we are the ones doing the work. Phew." Chu Yanhai covered his mouth with an exaggerated expression. "I'm sorry, brother. I shouldn't have laughed. Ha 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 ha, I really can't help it. I'm dying of laughter. Brother, you really found a good son-in-law." Chu Yanhai patted Chu Yanqian on the shoulder and smiled. "Do you know why Mom supports Simon to inherit the Chu group?" Chu Yanqian frowned. "Why?" "Because of him." Chu Yanhai pointed at Xia Qian. "He is a murderer of his father and mother. He is your future son-in-law. Although the Xia group is not as good as before, it is still a big family after all. It has millions of business connections with the Chu group every year. What will the Xia group think if he, a murderer who was kicked out of the Xia group, marries the daughter of the Chu family? What does Mr. Xia think? For a prisoner who has been rehabilitated, you're going to give up a business worth millions. He doesn't deserve it. Besides, he is a murderer who killed his father and mother. It's a shame for the daughter of the Chu family to marry such a man. Our Chu family can't afford to lose face like this." Chu Yanqian retorted. Xia Qian was wrongly accused. It was old man Xia who gave false testimony in court. Chu Yanhai smiled and said, "Even if he was wrongly accused, he is 26 years old this year, has no job, no education, is a prisoner in labor reform, and has a pretty face. What can he do? Are you going to be a gigolo?" These words were thought-provoking, and everyone in the Chu family nodded and agreed with Chu Yanhai's point of view. Woo woo woo. At this time, Zhao Yulian started to cry, and she cursed while crying, "What a sin. This marriage contract was written by my mother herself. My family doesn't want her to get married, but since my mother wrote the marriage contract, we can't deny it. If we deny it, it will be my mother's fault if it gets out. Over the years, our family has worked hard, even if we have not made any contributions. Mom said that the position of chairman has always been ours. We can stop doing business, but we can't lose the share." Zhao Yulian took a tactic of retreating to advance and preserved her current income. Chu Yanhai saw through Zhao Yulian's thoughts and sneered, "Don't worry, sister-in-law, you won't get less of the share. Today." Before Chu Yanhai finished speaking, Chu Yanqian suddenly stood up. His face was very calm and his voice was not loud but powerful. "I quit. From now on, I will no longer work for Chuxi Group, and I don't want any share of the profits." Chu Yanhai was very excited when he heard Chu Yanqian's words, but pretended not to understand. "Brother, what do you mean by this? You conquered the Chu Group, how can you give it up? The share must be given to you. Stop pretending to be the second." Chu Yanqian directly exposed Chu Yanhai. "You said nice things about giving me a share, but when it comes to the money, you will find all kinds of excuses and the share will get less and less. In the end, you will give me 10,000 or 20,000 yuan a month and get rid of me. Don't think I don't know your tricks. The share, position, and shares of the Chuxi Group are all left to you. Similarly, the debts of the Chuxi Group have nothing to do with me." Chu Yanhai was so excited that he almost clapped his hands, but he couldn't show too much happiness, so he could only say regretfully, "Brother, this makes me very sad. We are brothers after all. It's really inappropriate to make such a fuss. Big brother, please call me anytime if you have any problems in the future. Snort. Chu Yanqian snorted coldly, stood up, rolled his eyes at him and said sarcastically, "You look disgusting." Chu Xie. "Dad, I'm here." Chu Xie stood up. Chu Yanqian gave an order, "Send the guests away." Zhao Yulian was terrified and hurriedly went to pull Chu Yanhai and others. "You don't have to give up the shares, but you can't give us the share, especially for the cooperation with Qianhe Group. Xu Chengfeng only cooperated with us because of Ma Yinqian's face, so he can't not give us a share of the profits." Chu Yanhai shook off Zhao Yulian's hand and scolded her. "Your family has nothing to do with the Chuxi Group anymore, so what share do you want?" Seeing that Chu Yanhai was speechless, Zhao Yulian went to beg the old lady again, Mom, you have to make the decision for us. Yanqian has paid so much for the Chuxi Group, you can't just ignore us." The old lady left with Chu Ziming's support without even opening her mouth. In less than 10 minutes, only Chu Yanqian's family of 4 and Xie Qian were left in the huge living room. There were 3 tables of luxurious dinners, but almost no one touched a single bite. Xia Qian picked up a Boston lobster ball and put it in his mouth. Commented, "The shrimp meat is crispy and springy, with a mellow taste and full of juice. It tastes good. Would you like to try it?" Chu Xia and Chu Feiya picked up the chopsticks, picked up a lobster ball and put it in their mouths. They had been arguing just now and had not had time to eat a single bite of the food. At this moment, the shrimp meat entered their mouths. Both of them brightened up. "It's really good, it's real Boston lobster." Chu Xia gave a thumbs up. Chu Feiya quickly took out a convenient bag and packed up the remaining half of the lobster meat. Chu Xia asked speechlessly, "Third sister, what are you doing? The food at Jiafengtang is too bad. I want to save it for a midnight snack." Chu Feiya packed up 3 servings of Boston lobsters and prepared to take them back to the clinic. She could only go home 2 days a week. Her chef was a vegetarian and she ate so much vegetarian food that her face looked pale. When you come home and eat something delicious, pack it up and eat it again when the chef is not around. You are really... Chu Xia shook his head speechlessly. Seeing the 3 people chatting with each other in a very familiar manner, Zhao Yulian became furious and shouted, "Eat, just eat. I told you to eat." Suddenly, she overturned the table and the pots and pans were broken all over the floor. Chu Yanqian was smoking, and when he saw this scene, he immediately got angry and slapped Zhao Yulian in the face. "What the hell are you crazy about?" Zhao Yulian was scared when she was beaten for the first time, but at this moment, the fear of being kicked out of the Chu family made her forget the pain on her face. She pointed at Xie Qian like crazy and said to Chu Yanqian, "It's either him or me in this world. If he doesn't leave, then I will. You choose."